Is this a public hangout?
Yes, it is right now. We've gone live. Hello, everybody. It's Sun and Moon here on the 19th, Thursday, the 19th of October. And everybody's a special guest today, but we have Mr. Thrive and Survive. Hello, Rich. How are you?
Hello all. Good to see you again. I've been off the circuit for about a week or two, taking a break, but glad to be back.
And we have Matt Jerome, Series, Patricia.
Hi, guys.
We have Alan. There's Alan. And so far, because obviously a few people are going to join as well as the night goes out, we've got Matt and we've got Doc talking about their work. So, Matt, will you start your little presentation for Rich?
Okay. Rich, hi everybody. How we doing? So, I've been doing these a very long time for people who haven't heard of me before. Some of you have. And my presentations are based on the understanding that everything has a relationship with numbers, sound, and color expresses the value or vibrational density of the state of material that you are trying to work with or describe. So everything is a moving state of matter. Nothing isn't a sound wave. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything has a sound to it. And the sound of the thing is its personal vibration, its personal name. And understanding sound on this level is to understand all things. It's to understand the relationships of reality around you. And this understanding is not what we're taught in school at all. And we are linearized. We are reduced in our mental capacity by how we're taught what numbers are and how they affect us. It reduces our understanding of reality in spherical time, space, and dimensions of it. So you're being fed a line. You're being fed a line, okay? You're being fed a story, which nobody likes fish stories. I don't like fish stories. I like truth, personally. I don't like being fed emotional fish stories. I don't like being hooked on them. And that's exactly what has happened to mankind over a period of hundreds of years. And how this happened was simply under the understanding that they killed your parents and they re-educated the children. And history was forgotten, controlled, modified, and rewritten. And a lot of truths can be found in fairy tales and sayings that were handed down in wives' tales, nursery rhymes. And some families changed the spelling of their names to preserve certain small pieces of truth that they considered important to their family. And that's in the sound arrangement of letters in their words, is realizing, like you were talking earlier before live there, series, is that we're working the language through the mirror and then bringing it backwards. You're seeing another side of it. You're seeing the sound spelled backwards by jumbling it through the mirror, because you're turning the vowels out. You're turning them inside out. You're turning the word inside out, and you're just getting another meaning. And that was put there on purpose by your ancestors. Our ancestors are a lot smarter than you and I today give them credit for. How they did business, how they exchanged and did things and expressed values and points of interest, everything. Everything is amazing how they used to do things. There was no money. It was all barter, and it was understanding points and the value of all things. And they used this by expressing points inside a circle, because they believed that everything was a part of a master shape inside a whole shape, and they called the shape a circle. And everything in their reality was applied to this. Their calendars, their way of life, they worshiped the lunar cycles, 13 months, 28 days, 13 and 28 is 360, all round and round. Everything was based on the understanding of everything was inside a circle. But when you start considering a circle, what it actually is and what we're being taught it is are way different than what it is. A circle is the result of movement. It's not a shape. It's an action. It's not a construct. It's motion. It's time itself. It's the movement of ions. There's nothing that's not moving. There's nothing that's not matter in motion in the sea of ions and atomic matter that is mitochondrial water vapor. Everything is vibrating density in different levels of water vapor. I mean, you're 97% water. Look around. What's not water? Or water moisture in the air that you breathe. Everything is mitochondrial water, which is matter, which is the Egyptian word for matter was Mayat, and that's mother. And that's what has happened to society as we've been put out of keel with the natural balance in things. We're only being shown masculine energy, energy of the sun, S-U-N, sun in the sky, red thinking, logic, and right eye. And all this is what all this has to do with is your eyes and the balance. Everything that is all tied to all. You have a balance in your mind. You have a red eye and a blue eye, and one's dedicated to the moon and one's dedicated to the sun. Red and blue thinking. So you have a logic eye, which is under the sun, and then you have a creation eye, which is under the water and the moon. And the two, when you use both of them together, you get purple. That's the balance. And that's what being a man is all really about, is about balance. Balance of masculine and feminine energy is recognizing the balance in all things. We are been reduced in mental capacity to flop and fish, emotionally feeling crap every 5 minutes because we're told we have to feel something. We got to feel insecurity and fear because we don't have the same shit our neighbors have. Or our house doesn't look as good, or the car isn't as pretty. And our morals are bankrupt because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses and keeping up with our neighbors and worrying about not having what our neighbors have. And we destroy this world because of that. That very mentality has destroyed this whole world. It's not an economy. Right. It's a whole world. And when you start looking around, you follow the history of money, you realize that all banks, they're all related. They all intermarry. The Rothschilds, they sent their sons to 5 countries and established banks all over the world and forced international banking laws on the countries. And really, you've been borrowing money from the Rothschild family for 70 years. It didn't matter if it was coming from the brother in France or the brother in Germany or the brother in London. It all was coming from Rothschild. They were just loaning from the London branch. I'll loan it from the German branch. Oh, France, you want a loan? We'll send you the money from England instead of Germany this week. They got the whole world by the fucking short and curlies because of what I just said right there. Loaning money to countries through different divisions, but it's all the same family. Biologically speaking. And the people that control the money of this world are Phoenicians. And they're trying to hide it. And they're trying to claim the heritage of my family. And I'm tired of it. Fed up. Had enough. They stole my family's seat of a power. They don't have no genetic right to be in the situation they're in. That queen is not there by biological right. She's there because she married into the family. Do your research. Do your homework. You'll find out. She's not the right blood type to be sitting on the throne. They switched out the DNA. That's why you can all kinds of information about targeted individuals, because they're trying to eradicate the bloodline of Seth right off the planet. But so what I show you is how color relates to this reality that we're in, and what happens in it is that it is numerical. Colors are numbers, and they're expressions of source, and they're expressions of original sound, because everything in this reality is based on a sound shape, because sound shapes the reality that we're living in. There's nothing without a sound. Nothing is held together without current. And that's the centrifugal force of magnetism and the energy that pulls to that middle point in our reality. That's what they're hiding from us, is the understanding of this. They try to disinform you by feeding it to you as the North Pole and South Pole. There's your North Pole and your South Pole. How do you like me now? There's your North Pole and your South Pole. It's one pole. Creating an illusion for you to think in a state of confusion and babble on, turn you into beasts, no understanding. There's only one axis, there's one line, it's the north end and the south end, it's calling it a pole. Two ends of the same thing, up and a down. Everything's inside of sound and language and understanding this. Then what if I told you that NASA, where you've received your education for your whole life, the sound of that means to lie or deceive in Hebrew? That's what that means. It means I'm going to lie to you. That's what NASA means. It means I'm going to lie to you. I understand that that's what that means, and that's what that sound means. And oh boy, they got control of my education. Should I really believe what they're saying to me? See this? So they're sounding one thing and they're symbolizing another. And that's how they trick you into consent. Because silence is consent. If you don't disagree with what they're showing you, then you agree with it. And this is how they get their authority over us. They use symbols to sound certain things for our eyes, and we don't understand what our eyes are being shown, so we become a slave to what they're showing us. And we don't realize it, but it is conditioning our mind. And that's what commercials are all about. It's about telling you how to feel, and that you have to feel, or the fact that you got to feel anything. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. It's about action. You're feeling about what they're presenting to you. It's action, because they put a thought in your head, and now you're going to act on it. And they know that you're going to act. And to them, it doesn't matter if you're going to negatively impact it or positively. But the fact of the matter is, you're jumping like a fish because of the emotion that they made you feel. And that's the control factor. That's what they're after. Because now they're making you feel. And that means they got a tether on you, and they can lead you around like a carted mule to the left or to the right with a carrot stick called money. Make you feel based on what the box tells you that this reality is, based on the teacher's opinion of what this reality is. Keep in mind, 8 years ago, that teacher was you. And they're just another product that was programmed by the same system. They didn't ask any questions. They were told the same reality you were told, and they're just repeating what they were told to you. They didn't learn nothing. They given you a dictated manuscript to be parroted, enough to exchange money, perform some basic operations in society based on what you want to do in life, because your reality is scripted. They ask you, what do you want to do when you grow up? So they try to control you, put you in the education system, control your career, linearize your brain to a specific field of understanding so you can do the job in their reality that you said you wanted to do. They're helping you create your reality inside of their form. They're conforming you to their box of thinking, inside their school of thought. And the word school has multiple meanings, including education, which is a deception, which is a lie, and school is another word for a flock of fish. Many fish is a school. So they're sending a school of fish into a box to be programmed into a form of thinking. That's what they're sounding for you in the symbols. I didn't make that up. That's what they're doing. That's what their intention is. That's there.
Do you mind if I interrupt for a second, Matt?
Absolutely. It's a powerful statement. I understand. Absolutely. Go ahead.
I could not agree with you more. Since I got into flat Earth, what really shocked me was how people react. They don't think. They just react to whatever emotion has already been pre-programmed in them from whatever age that they're, they go down the line are supposed to. But what I wanted to ask you here, because you brought it up several times, what do you consider to be real money? Because my thing is, all they do is type digits in, fake money, but they get back the reality of our labor.
This will make you just. I make a laughing joke about this all the time. When you realize the value of what your body is water and mineral content, right? And you look at commodities and you look at money and you look at gold and silver and you look at all these things. Now I'm going to tell you that the most valuable commodity in the world is sand, is dirt.
Well, it all comes from there.
No joke. Sand, silica, fine sand is the highest traded value commodity in the world. You make glass out of it. It's the highest sold thing. Think about it. All these cell phones, your technology, everything's based on sand.
Right.
So we're cannibalizing the very existence that we're living on for technology. We're eating ourselves to death. We're consuming the very thing that we're living on for tech.
So what is it you do? Do you do things with shapes and colors and things like that for like retraining of the mind?
I started doing this about 3 years ago, to be honest with you, and I didn't even really understand. One of my friends said, hey, you should try, because I was always showing equations for numbers. Like, okay, if you have a pen handy, write this down for yourselves, that all of you, whoever is hearing this. If you take the numbers and you multiply 3 times 1.5 times 2 times 2 times 4 times 5. And you just look at the equation and you look at those numbers. Now, I come from a Pythagorean understanding of numbers and applying them to shapes, which is dimension and spheres, and trying to figure out how numbers relate to actual physical shapes. When you look at the number 3, you must realize that 3 is a line. It's a plane, because it has 2 points and it has a point in the middle, so it has 3 points. So 1 is actually 3. That's in Pythagorean understanding of reality. 1 is 3. But also the point in the middle can be 1 too. So it's both.
Can I just say that? Just say there's a number, 370. It's not 307. Or say 371. It's not 371. To Matt, it's 3 plus 7 plus 1.
And that's 2. Because it's 11 and there's 2, and that's a yellow coordination. It's a yellow sound. It's a electric vibration of yellow.
I always think I'm a nut because I do that all the time.
The understanding what I'm showing you, we all do it. We just don't know what we're doing. We all do it. And that's what I tell people. So I'm not giving you anything you don't already know. I'm just reshuffling the deck of cards that you have in your head already. I'm giving you a different order to the stack of cards you already got.
I thought I was the only one that did that.
No, it's something very ancient. They're not teaching it to you, but it's a human nature. And the book and understanding of this was written by my family thousands of years ago. It was written by Saint Germain, who was a deification, a personification of the purple man that you call Merlin. Some religions call Merlin. Other religions call him Yeshua. When you understand Christ as Yeshua, you understand that he was Nassim, and he was a mage. He was a magician. He was a magic. He was a mage. He was a Jedi.
And use the word Seth also, correct?
Yes.
Seth? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Seth is the one that's being attacked, correct?
Yeah, that's the AB negatives. They're trying to present you the AB negative bloodline as an alien origin. It's not alien. It's Christ's bloodline. It was inserted into the program afterward, you know, because you have Noah and the reset and the flood. So you got Noah's DNA and the fallen angels running around and all that crap. And Christ was sent in. That's why they can't find a point of origin for him. Because, oh, this just came out of nowhere. And, oh, it must be alien. It's feeding us truth backwards. Whatever the mass opinion is on something, look at it and then say, now what's backwards? What's the exact opposite of what they're trying to shove down my throat? If I was trying to feed this to somebody exactly backwards, how would I do it? Because that's the truth.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, I'm convinced that since NASA looks up, what they're really doing is something below. They're working on something under the ocean floor. I don't know what it is, but I'm convinced of it. They have us looking the exact opposite way.
So what I came at was, what I did different was, instead of trying to force my way back through time and try to control the flow and the outcome of where I went, I just went right back to the beginning and said, all right, I'm out here in this construct of nothing. How do I go from nothing to something and then go forward from there? That's what I did. I started at the beginning and come forward instead of trying to move backwards through history. And I started with the very concepts of what is money. I mean, and understanding what it actually is and why we use money and understanding these things. What if I told you that in the beginning of time, when they decided to use gold and silver as forms of currency, the reason why they picked them was because they had no value for daily life. How do you like that? You couldn't shoe a horse with it. You couldn't defend your home with it. You couldn't eat it. See what I'm showing you? They had no interest in gold and silver in daily life. It didn't affect the average person. They had no understanding of it. They picked it because it was easy access and it had no value to them daily. They didn't realize anything in it. So they picked it because they thought it had no value. Yeah,
only recently has silver come into electronics and things like that.
Right. That's the only company. I mean, to me, gold and silver, I mean, it has dietary effects if you weren't aware of that, because you are electricity and gold and silver are superconductors. So the very definition of dying is losing your electrical current. We lose our electrical current because we don't replace the minerals in our vessel. We eat a bunch of processed nuclear radiated GMO crap that's fake. We are what we eat. We have a health food department. What the hell's the rest of the store?
Yeah, that's a good point. Never thought of it that way. That's a good way to put it.
Right. And then that comes to the next question. If there's a health food department and what's in the rest of the store, how did our government and our leaders truly benefit? How does this benefit the people, having a health food department? They're not looking at you.
How do we have all that and they've got like rat poisoning in children's cereal? Could I just say that Karen B,
kill you?
Can I just say that Karen B's joined us? Hello, Karen. Just say hello to Karen.
Hello, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hello.
So yeah, they're trying to kill you.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're trying to kill you. They're putting you in a.
What they have over here is the FDA,
goes like this. Right? Yeah, that's every corporation in America is a corporation, and every corporation is a foreignly owned entity. No one in America owns any corporations that run America. Utility grids, everything is owned by foreign countries. When they switched the world dollar to the China brick dollar, Russia dollar, the China brick, that's what they're doing right now. They're prepping the markets for it right now. They're making a gold dollar shift. Where's your petrodollar going to be then? But here's the funnier part, okay? Because everything in this reality that we exist in is a density. It's a vibration. It's moving atoms and ions and sound vibrations and laws of attraction and magnetism. All things come to all things attracting that energy. When you understand that everything's a vibrational state from one state to the next and life goes round, see this? Just a vibration to the left, to the right, and everything goes round back onto itself into the point in the middle. That's what this is. That's what we're living in. When you understand that, Everything is a choice. Feelings are colors, and you get to choose the colors you're feeling. They don't control you. They're options, and they're trying to make you feel. But they're only telling you you have to be positive or negative. They left the option of neutrality right out of the equation, never even gave you that choice. They're just telling you you have to feel and jump and go. You don't have to not feel anything. You don't have to feel anything. Emotions don't control you. You ride them. You own them. You decide to feel. You don't have to feel. You can if you want to, but allowing yourself and realizing in yourself that it's a choice to feel, that's freedom. That's empowerment. That's stepping outside of the box. That's allowing yourself to realize, hey, this coffee's not half negative. It's not half empty, half negative. It's not half full, half positive. It's a cup of coffee. I'm not trying to put a perspective on it or anything. It's a cup of coffee, and I'm going to drink it because there's nothing I can do about the state it's in. All I can do is drink the cup of coffee.
Yeah, that's an excellent example because you're right. They have us even thinking about that. Is it half full or is it half empty?
Right. And the laws of alchemy is the understanding I just showed you. Just drink the coffee. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't have to feel any kind of way about anything. Everything's moving and coming at you. You can feel red about it. You can feel blue about it. Or you can understand the blue and the red and be purple and not have to feel anything. Just walk a line. Experience what you're experiencing. It's a moving water vibrational state of dense ions. It's a hologram, and you're made into the particulate image of it. Your atom. There's nothing that's not an atom. And male and female is the completed picture. Male energy and female energy is the sum of the whole. So when you take that and you look at that, you take a Star of David and call it masculine, and you take another one and call it feminine, and you overlay them, you got 12 points around a centerpiece. 12 plus 1 is 13. You talk about 12 tribes of Israel. Israel was the father of the 12 sons. 12 plus 1 is 13. So when you start looking at that, 12 is 30 points, 30 degrees pi. And that's what this is right here, 30 degrees pi, all the color codes and lines labeled to their color code. There is no zero. It's all moving triangles onto a point onto itself, right angled onto its own self. Nothing in this reality is not broken into 3 states, positive, negative, or neutral. And the positive, negative, and neutral state of something can be found by the color, the personality of color that is being expressed through its frequency. When you add up all the numbers and whatever it is you're looking at. So if you're looking at a sound wave that's 432, that's a sum of 9. And the 9 is the state and personality of that sound wave, and that's a red state of sound. 3, 6, and 9 is your red group of numbers. 9 is your red group because 3, 6, and 9, the sum of that is 18, and 1 and 8 is 9. The personality of that group of numbers is 9. That's a red group of numbers. 3, 6, and 9 is a red group of numbers. And 2, 5, and 8, the sum of them is 15, and 1 and 5 is 6. So yellow numbers are 2, 5, and 8. So any number that comes down to a 2, a 5, or 8, that's a yellow personality. It's an electric yellow. It's positive or negative or neutral based on these codes. 1, 4, and 7 is blue. So you're talking about 147 hertz in the sound scale of waves. 147, that's the lowest point of sound. And you take that to the highest point of sound, you pair them together, and you got 1,110. 111. 3 parts of the whole. And you go around and you keep staging off the sound waves by pairing them in from 18 points. Realize you're just looking at 9 lines. A top and a bottom of 9 lines. A positive and negative end of each line. And the pairings, when you pair them off the high to the low, you're getting the center of sound. You're getting 1,110. That's the equation all the way around. The pairs all add up to that because that's the center point they all add up to. Because the point in the middle is the center of the universe. It's the center of all sound. All sound equates from this point.
Is there an advantage to having certain frequencies more in your life than others?
Absolutely, of course. That's why you have different social groups, is because of that right there, because of the music they listen to.
Okay.
That's why you have gothic groups and you got flower power, crazy, giggly, stupid people. You just want to kill them. Say that again?
You said 4 once?
1,110. There's no zero. You just drop the 0. You're looking at 111.
Yeah, there's
or
no
you're looking at 3.
No, because that seems like 4 pillars. You know, it's good.
Yeah, it's the damnedest. I sent the picture to Karen in regards to that sound scar, and also it's on my file there. But all of numbers work this way. It's all fractal states. I actually met a guy who's my maintenance man, and he's got a degree from Harvard, not Harvard, a DeVry University for computer tech and animating software for video games. And that's what he was talking. He looked at my stuff and he understood it. He understood it right away. I never had an everyday person just start talking to me about what, but he was talking about it in a different light. He's using different words to talk about the same thing, but I understood what he was saying because he was calling it fractal numbers. He's saying everything's in triangles and fractorials. That's what they call fractorials, is triangles, is fractorials. They're hiding it. Fractions, they're calling triangles fractorials. Nothing is not in a positive, negative state. And then you look, blue is the neutral state of things. It's like, that's what Bruce Lee was telling you. Be like water, be neutral, just go with the flow. You have no control, you just go for the ride, go around, under and around things. You can't feel anything about it. You can just go along and experience it. It's all you can do. And that understanding itself, it's freeing because you don't have to feel. And that's power. That's real power. You don't have to feel. You don't have to, but you can. And that's freedom. It's your choice to feel.
Matt, can I just say that we've been going now for nearly half an hour and we have to move on.
Sorry, yeah, I'm done.
No, I'm sure that Thrive will, because there was a couple of other people, well, another person, maybe we can come back to this a little bit later on, Matt, what you've been talking about, if that's okay with you.
Can I do this one quick picture here and then it'll make more sense the most? This right here.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Then. Walt Disney, Peter Pan, Capital James Cook, Captain James Hook. Okay? The phony Phoenicians are feeding you stories through cartoons. Peter Pan's telling Hook he's a codfish. And Jesus is a fish, and if you take the fish and you turn it 180 degrees, you have a penis. And if you flip it upside down, you have a vagina. I don't care how you want to think about it. It's the same construct. It's the same shape. I'm showing you the religion is symbolizing sexual organs. The letter J was invented by Rome 1611. And if you think about the shape of a J, it's a fish hook. A capital J is the fish hook. Think about it. So you've been sold a sound story. You've been sent on an emotional line, hook, line, and sinker. You're a damn codfish being sent to school in a box for thinking. And this is all in the symbols. This is what they're showing you. The ancient capital Rome was Capitula. Capital of Rome is Capitula. And it means eye cap. They're blocking you from your third eye. So that's it for me for right now. You're a codfish, and you've been sold a phony fish story your whole life. There you go. Take it away.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Thank you so much for explaining. Thrive, do you have anything to say, Rich, before we go on to the next person?
That's one of those things I find totally fascinating. It's one of the things that I told you before. I'm trying to get into more other stuff other than flat Earth. I feel like I'm sort of burned out on that. And that's one of the things he's talking about is frequencies, feelings, and flat Earth kind of took me there too. Like I said, I noticed that everybody, more than what I thought. I always knew people were reactionary, but it's so programmed in now into society. I had no idea it was permeated so bad, but it is. I mean, it's really, really bad, and there is a purpose for that. And I'd just love to get more information on it, not only for that aspect for it, but I think it will help my life out also. I mean, just some of the things he's saying there is like a philosophy that I have to sort of adapt in my own life, because I've become victim to my own feelings and emotions and things like that, because I've been out in society, and I was married to a woman who was psychology's her whole life. And it was a bad combination, because I was always I don't have to feel stuff, and she's like, you have to feel everything. So we didn't last a lifetime, but anyway, it's good stuff, and I'd really, really like to know more about it. Is there a resource that you have online? Or
yeah, I do have I do have my Facebook account, and I run a YouTube channel. I do a lot of what I do with the YouTube is I put a lot of what I like to call generic things that people always ask. You know what I mean? Like, I hear the same question over and over, so I try to just do a general rant around where I'm hearing a lot of questions from the everyday people.
Maybe if we've got time, Series, oh no, you're back on now, aren't you, Series? Series will show the video of that FPV did. But we'll do that.
That would really help. I get a lot of comments and thanks for that video. So thank PV too, FPV on that too. So people always comment to me how powerful that was.
Well, I really appreciate you going into this, Matt. I really do. Thank you.
Thank you. And like I said, I didn't even have my life was really hard because I didn't even finish high school. But I have 20 years in sales and marketing, and I was taught by them how to do this stuff. And I'm looking around at people today. I'm like, damn, everybody's a fish. I'm like, this has got to change.
Yeah, we have the same background there. 25, 30 years in sales and marketing.
Yeah, and I bartered and traded in money and sold cars, and then I broke my back, and I got barred from the church when I was a teenager, and so I was in a real mess because my father, I was writing the Bible. I had written the whole Bible before I was 13 years old. I copied it by hand, the whole thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Shall we go on to the next person, and Series will find the video of Matt's, and we'll come back to the video of Matt's after we've done Weedy the Doc and Karen B. Yeah?
Sounds good. No, that sounds great.
I'll get the website from you, Karen. You'll put it at the bottom, I'm sure.
The Series is going to find the video that FPV made, so yeah, we'll play that in a minute. Well, in a little bit.
Yeah, Karen, put up the link for the psychological warfare one too, because that covers so much of what we're talking about right now.
Can you find it and put it in here, and then I'll put it on the.
Yeah, I'll put it in the comments. I'll go pull it up off YouTube.
Okay, thanks. So now we're on to Weedy the Doc. Alan, hello, Alan.
Hello.
Hello. Do you want to just explain to Thrive who you are, what you do, and just explain what you're going to explain?
Well, firstly, thanks, Matt. That was a really good show. I do free energy.
Thanks.
How you doing? I've been researching free energy for a long time. I've been working with it with a lot of other people since 1985, really. I've had a lot of success working myself, and I've got quite a lot of devices actually on YouTube the research I've done on YouTube, my work I put on YouTube. So, as I said, it started in about 1985, so I've continued that myself. Now I have working devices that run on free energy.
I haven't seen any of your devices, Weedy.
Yeah.
Are yours based on moving parts?
Yes, the latest version of devices are moving parts. Yes, basically, I use three-phase motors, which work on RF, resonant frequency. What I do is I spin the motors, I feed I do the timing on the three phases, so I pulse them so that the motor turns, and basically I send frequencies to each coil in the sequence as well from the computer, and that results in a reaction that I take back into various electronic equipment and transformers, produces free energy. If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. The reason why, because I also work on free energy, so I had a question. That's why I asked that, because my projects don't have any moving parts.
Yep.
At all. It's a chemical understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually figured out what the Egyptians were doing when you look at the hieroglyphs and you see them holding candlesticks and their fireless light, they were creating hydroelectric reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And how they were doing that was understanding that metal has positive, negative, and neutral. They understood that on a quantum level. They knew it then. So my last idea, I had a little LED light, and what I did is I ran palladium inside an iron pipe, and I created a copper coil around the pipe, and I ran the copper, so the copper line went through the middle, looped around, went back in like a rabbit hole.
Yep.
And then double bound coil around the outside, and you got two lines. But that's a permanent. When I put the magnets in,
yep,
it's running a light.
That's clever.
Yeah, it's brilliant, Matt. We know that you're always working. You're always working. I don't think Matt gets much sleep either. But Doc, just explain to Thrive how you know we're a flat plane with your equipment from work.
Well, basically what we started doing was working with scalar waves. So we used crystals to emit scalar waves. But first of all, to do that, we had to basically program information into the crystal so that it would send out the frequencies that we were needing to reflect. And I'll talk about that in a minute. What we did was we made a carrier wave, 400 hertz carrier wave, and inside that carrier wave was the information we stored in the scalar wave, basically stored inside the crystal. So when we emitted scalar waves, it would start in small rings and expand upwards. So these rings expanded till they went basically as far as they could. And that was the first indication we knew that there was something up there, that the scalar waves or scalar rings were hitting off of and reflecting down back to where we sent the signal from in a focal cone position. So we did more work, and we basically proved that the firmament was in fact bouncing off of and bouncing back to Earth. Not only that, we could take the device anywhere in the country, well, basically anywhere in the world, send the scalar waves, the expanding scalar waves upwards, and they would come back to the source where we sent them from in a focal cone, which basically proved the surface that we were reflecting off was in fact a dome. Basically the firmament. Now, we still couldn't establish whether there was a solid, a field, or what the firmament was, but there definitely is a firmament, and definitely a dome which is curved. Otherwise, we wouldn't have received the scalar waves back in the fashion we did. Also, the tests we did, if you sent expanding scalar rings upwards to reflect off the dome, you couldn't do that in a flat Earth, because you would have your two furthest points in in the dome. That would be as far as it would go. You couldn't basically bend things round a globe, and that was another indication we had that we were onto the right. Well, basically what we thought was right. We've used scalar waves to produce free energy in lots of different ways as well. But that was the main focus to begin with. It was really to prove the reflection of the scalar waves initially.
And what does it tell you then?
It tells you that we have a dome above us, and we 100% have a dome above us, the firmament, and 100% have a flat Earth. It would be absolutely impossible for these signals to come back, to be received back in the way we did.
And also explain that you've heard the Earth's heartbeat.
Yes, it was actually the research, what we were doing with the scalar waves. Basically what I did was I sent the signal to a radio in my car. I programmed it to receive the scalar carrier wave, basically. In doing that, I found there was like a pulsing noise that would come through the car radio. And it would only come through the car radio on one car, which I programmed. If you put a car next to it, tuned in at the same frequency, you couldn't receive it. It was only this one car. So basically there was a pulsing noise which sounded like a heartbeat. So that was another indication we were receiving something different. So that ended up actually being the Earth's heartbeat. A lot of the research work also tied into Sirius's work when Karen and myself met up at the Space Centre. Yep.
Leicester last year.
Leicester, yes, that's right. So, you know.
Yeah, what it was is I just started talking to Doc. I just couldn't believe it, because the day before Ceres had told us that we lived in the heart garden of the tree of life, and then the next day I heard the man that heard the heartbeat. Now, I didn't actually record it myself, but I heard it, and then when I went to record it, it wasn't there. And it was like, you know, when you sit in the hospital, the heartbeat goes da-dong, da-dong, because you're not moving. But this sounded like someone was moving around. The heartbeat was going da-dong, 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 dong, 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 da-dong, 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 dong, dong. But it sounded just like a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness. So that's
right. You can hear it 24/7. I mean, it's there all the time. The noise is there all the time.
Tell Rich what it does as well, what you notice happens when weather fronts happen.
Oh yes, the heartbeat changes, and you can hear the different tones within this the carrier wave that's received at the radio. So a few days before storms come, you can change, but you can hear a difference in the actual tones that you hear on the radio. You know, there's something about to change.
So you can actually forecast the weather based on the heartbeat.
Yes, it tells you. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, you know, Matt is a mega intelligent person, so Ceres, but so is Doc. Doc's amazing. And just explain to Thrive, you know, because obviously we've seen some of yours. You're doing these free energy tests in your own home, aren't you?
Yes, well, that's right. The house now runs on free energy devices. Previously, I had a plasma drive, which I built and had, but the whole house is powering off it. But I had a few issues with that. So what I tried to do was go for technology, the ideas that was a little bit more safer. Because what I would like to do is open source all my work. I want to get to a point very, very shortly where I need to open source all my work so that, well, basically the ideas can't be stopped.
You've done some work with John Hutchinson, haven't you?
I have, yes, and that wee rascal's copied some of my work.
So Here's the thing with free energy that interests me the most. I think I told some of the people in this group before, I'm looking to build, I want to say a tiny house, but it's going to be bigger than a tiny house. But it's not going to be a full-fledged, you know, but the American dream, which is the dream of the bankers. That isn't what it's going to be. But I want to be as off-grid as possible. And the problem there is that generally means solar, which is great where I live in Arizona. But what's bad is I need air conditioning here because it's 42 degrees here Celsius in the summer. For 3 months we get that, 40 to 42 degrees. Is there anything out there that can power that that's not going to cost $100,000 or $1,000 a month to run?
Yes, there's devices that I'm making just now which will be upgraded to run a full house. I've had them in the past.
Are these things that I can go and get the materials put up together and with the schematic and make it work?
The average person should be able to. Yep.
Well, sign me up.
Well, afterwards, I'll give you the links for all the people that are that you've spoken to today, who've done their presentations. I will give you either an email or their YouTube channel.
You know, that's another one of those bullet to the head things, like Chris Monk was saying. The powers to be just don't want free energy that's cheap, obviously.
No.
But hats off to you for actually doing it. I don't know how this group gets all these amazing people, Karen, but I'm amazed every time I come on here.
Oh, thank you, Thrive. But we communicate with each other and talk to each other, and I don't know, everybody's coming together, and I love it. I'm so proud of everybody.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. And again, it's you can tell the type of person they are. From the ones I hear from, you know, I think I've heard Patricia for about 3 sentences. I've been on here 3 times, and but
You mean Patricia? You mean Patricia that's sitting here with the cushion? You mean?
Yes.
Patricia is a loyal Sun and Moon person. She helps me on Facebook and does loads of other things. She's an amazing person. Patricia, say hello. Patricia?
Maybe she's busy right now.
No, I'm here. Sorry.
You're there? Oh, good.
Hello, Patricia.
I'm here, yeah. Hello, everyone.
Patricia
Hello
listens, but when she has something to say, it's usually quite a sentence, isn't it, Patricia?
Well, yeah, might take me a week to get it, but yeah, it does.
Well, good to hear from you.
Yeah.
I see the cushion there every time, but I never hear anything hardly.
So explain what's on your cushion, Patricia.
It's a fear and non-compliance.
Clear the fear and non-compliance. That's what she says.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I couldn't quite make it out. It's awesome. So how long have you been doing this free energy stuff?
Since about 1985.
Wow, you're way ahead of the curve.
We've seen into Doc's house, and you know, he started off by showing us stuff with crystals, because you know what they've done to crystals. Oh, hippies like them, and nobody really thinks about them, and yet crystals, amethyst and quartz is what you need for free energy. But Doc is also trying other ways now of making free energy.
Yeah.
Well, I see quartz everywhere here on the ground.
Could you explain just a little bit about a couple of the devices that you're trying then, Doc?
Yes. Well, I've got in my living room just now, I've got an electric bike which is converted. What it basically does is it runs itself, self-charges, never needs charged ever. So you could use it just as a normal electric bike. But what I'm using it for is really to power the house. Powers itself and powers the house, basically.
I'm sorry, it does what to the house?
It powers the whole house, apart from the cooker.
I'm missing something. Does that mean heat the house?
No, all your phone chargers, lights, sockets.
Oh, it
everything.
powers the house.
Powers the whole house. Yes.
Wow, powers. That's the word I was. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
From Scotland.
Scotland. Okay.
Scotland, yes. Central Scotland.
I've got most of the British down, but the Irish and the Scottish, I don't quite have the accent down. Where I miss some of the words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the latest device I've got. What the idea was basically to make open source a device that was easy to build with off the shelf parts. Have any parts engineered, which was costing me an awful lot of money. Basically easy to build, easy to install, would run itself. Basically, a simple idea. So I've got.
Are you connected to the grid at all?
I'm now off grid, totally 100% off grid.
Wow.
Really? And you're not told off? You know that you have to sign up to the utilities, don't you? It's illegally you have to sign up to the utilities.
That's right. Well, they came to see me yesterday to ask for gas and electricity readings, and I said, "Well, basically, I don't use either." And, so they want a stand in charge actually, just to have the services on the house. So I'm quite happy with that. If it keeps me all legal.
Alan, is there anything else you want to say to Thrive, or do you think you just want to send him a few links so he can see your stuff?
Yes, I can send him a few links. Some of my work is actually on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. The electric bike's on there actually. Quite a lot of different ideas.
Yeah, we'll make sure that you get those, Thrive. We'll make sure that you get those afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
But yes, you can definitely go off grid, no problem.
Wow, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I've always liked the idea of tiny houses myself. That's something I've looked into myself.
So I could even power air conditioners.
Yes, you could. That would be. Well, we're just upgrading. Well, I'm upgrading a device just now that would be able to do that.
Wow, amazing.
But there's easier ways to do it than that. You just reverse the process of a refrigerator, if you think about it.
Heat pump? Is that same thing?
Well, if you get cold water, like say in a river, and you had the fridge reversed, it would produce heat. So,
believe it or not, here, well, I live in the desert. I live in the Arizona desert Southwest, so there aren't any. The Colorado River does run by some places, but not near me. But believe it or not, in the summer, it is so hot that the water actually, you don't have to turn hot water on to take a shower. In fact, by August, it's hard to stand under the water because it's so hot coming out of the tap.
Goodness me.
Wow.
So there are some unique things here. Now, one big advantage here is evaporation. Our average relative humidity is under 10%. For much of the year. So I mean, there's that. But anyway, I can't wait to look in to see what you got there. Anything will help. I mean, because I've had close to, I guess it'd be.
You need a bike. You need to get a bicycle, Thrive, and start wiring it up.
750 pounds a month just for electricity.
Oh, I would never pay that.
That's fairly typical here with a 2,000 square foot house. Just to let you know how expensive it is. I think I've got the conversion rate. So it could be as high as $900, $1,000.
Goodness sake.
And it's just, to me, it's just throwing it out the window. I mean, it's burning up horses. But with a small house, I don't need a big central air conditioner. I can run small window units. 500 amps or 1,000 amp, that type of deal. Much less than a central air unit. So there's different things I can do to get around that, because I'm not going to be building a mansion. But I do want to do this in the next 3 months or so. So this is perfect timing for me to hear about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I'll sort you out with.
I'll put you in
diagrams and plans. Do you have a smart meter by any chance?
Say again?
Do you use a smart meter?
I don't right now because I'm living in a trailer.
Right.
But anything they hook up, it's going to be a smart meter.
Right, because you want to avoid a smart meter.
Right. I want to avoid all utilities. Now, I think I'm going to have to connect to start with, just to build.
Yes.
But once I do that, I want to be worst case scenario, I want to like a gas or propane generator and solar.
Yeah.
I really do not want to be connected.
Yeah. You can actually run generators on fumes. All you do is you make a bubbler, a fuel bubbler.
Fuel bubbler.
A fuel bubbler, and what you do is you feed the pipe into the airflow, running on fumes, and it runs for hundreds and thousands of miles.
Really?
Yes.
Well, this is stuff I can't wait to learn about.
Sounds like you need to talk to Alan.
Why doesn't this stuff just go totally bonkers universal? Is it because of the powers that be hold it down?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
They don't want the truth to come out, do they?
Well, I think there's also a lot of...
Matt said earlier on, he put something on Facebook which was all to do with those colour things, and they've blocked it on Facebook because they don't want you knowing the truth.
Unbelievable. Well, you know, because of YouTube and stuff like that, and Google's going to be in trouble now. Trump did something pretty good today. He's appointing somebody who is very anti-Google, being the antitrust laws are not being enforced with monopolies here, and Google is definitely a monopoly. So this guy wants to bust that up, which is, I can't wait for that. But in any case, Google's busting their own self up. They're shooting themselves at, they have many toes and many feet, but they keep shooting themselves. So now I've heard of people coming out with what's it called, D-chain or D-block technology to have an alternative to YouTube, and the revenues for people that want to do revenue is going to be actually better. It's a different format. It's a different way of doing it, but it's not where you can be threatened by advertisers. It's a different type of deal. And there's a Twitch is gaining a lot of popularity with flat Earth people now because all these they just keep finding new ways to hide truth, and it's crazy. So all this stuff is, I think now's the time to learn it, because soon they're going to cut it out.
It's absolutely crazy what they're doing.
We just actually spread it.
It's got to be spread fast, because they're going to, well, as we know, they're shutting it down as fast as they can, in my opinion.
Yeah.
People are getting blocked for 6 months for crazy stuff.
So they make it in some way, and they charge you for it when you could. I mean, for instance, I work at this place where they're actually getting the free energy out of the ground. So it means that it's coming up from the ground. They're using rods that going into the ground, and they've hit this heat layer, and they make this electricity. But you imagine if there was any wars or any problems, then everybody could use their own electricity in their own home, and they've stopped that. I know they're doing it in that building, but it's not worldwide. Our houses, we should be all having this system.
Yes. And you know what I think one of the other problems with free energy is? I think there's a lot of fake people out there that claim they're doing free energy stuff, and it's just a scam to get your money.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I kind of get that opinion by looking at some of this stuff.
Is fake.
What's that again?
But 99% is fake.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably. No, go ahead.
Sorry, carry on. No, you go
I was
ahead.
just going to say that that's probably powers that be doing that too. Because it's made me not to want to look into it in the past. It was like, oh, they're all fake. But you're sitting there telling me you're running your house right now, and you're online right now with no electricity coming from any municipality. That's amazing.
No, it's quite easy.
Wow, that's music.
It actually depends. It depends on the amount of.
It's easy if you know Alan. It's easy if we know you, Alan.
Yeah, that's right. Can I get you? I'll get you a ticket to come over here and hook my house up. Do you run this through traditional house wire?
Sorry?
Do you run this electricity through traditional house wire?
Yes, well, it's a different kind of electricity. It's a form of cold electricity. It's resonant frequency it works on. So it's actually a method they use in washing machine motors and all sorts of appliances made in China. They're direct drive motors. But what they actually work on resonant frequency. So it's been hidden from us. China and Asia has known about this for a long, long while. Even the motors that's in remote control toys, like the remote control cars, and these are all direct. Well, there's a good majority of them are direct drive motors, resonant frequency technology. So these can be adapted.
So if I'm getting what you're saying right, to me, tell me if I'm on the right path or not. With solar, you have to have an inverter to convert it to AC.
Yes.
Now, what I'm getting is basically whatever this produces, you convert it so that your regular appliances or whatever can use this. Is that the right idea?
Well, you can actually, the devices can produce mains voltage easily.
The devices themselves
can do the conversion by themselves.
Wow.
Or they can run 12 volts. They can be configured for any voltage. You can use the motors straight from the factory, although by modifying them, you get a better result by actually changing the way they're wound. They're three-phase motors, so by winding each set of phases differently, you can get better results by using a different kind of wire rather than copper.
Okay. What wire? What kind of wire?
It's a mix of nickel and aluminium, but it's very expensive to buy it. That's why I've just stuck with just using copper, basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
They can easily run the way they are from the factory.
Wow.
Oh, that's another point. While we were talking about solar panels, because of all the chemtrailing, solar panels have lost their power by, I think it's 29%. So I think as the powers that be start to chemtrail more, solar panels will become more. So that's maybe not a line that I would go down. It's solar.
Oh, so what do you think? So you think they were truly affected the other day when we all had that really? I don't know about America, but we got a red sun, didn't we? The other day when the hurricane was sort of passing us at the end of it, we got a red sun at midday, like a setting sun. It was at midday. It was like my daughter rang me up and said, "Mum, what's happening to the sun? We're not dying, are we? Like the world's dying." But a lot of people felt that.
Mm-hmm.
They thought that's it. The sun's good because they said it was the dust picked up from one of the deserts.
Yeah.
And so that you were.
Yeah, I saw that. I experienced that twice when I was in the Navy, in the Mediterranean. I don't know. Did anybody ever get dust or sand on their cars after a while, or did it not come down?
Yeah, not this time, but in previously we've had that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We had it so bad one time that visibility went down to almost zero. It started out just looking a little bit more reddish than normal during the day. It just kept getting. We knew what it was. I was working in the weather office. We knew what was happening. But it got so bad that we had to activate the NBC, nuclear, biological, chemical washdown system on the aircraft carrier to clean it off. That's how bad it got. But yeah, it's amazing what. Well, you rarely have hurricanes up there, rarely. So it's amazing that the power.
We get the end of hurricanes, or that's what they tell us. But you know, are they real anymore? Are they manipulated? They're all manipulated. You know, just
yeah, I would say so.
Everywhere. Me and Patricia were talking about it earlier on about fires everywhere and hurricanes everywhere. I mean, they're trying to smash up the whole world? Is that what they're doing?
They're trying to do something. I know there's so many fires that I can see it in the morning, especially when I walk my dog. I can see the at dawn, especially you can see that there's a streak of like brownish in the atmosphere. It kind of goes away when the sun's up. You don't quite see it, but it's there. And I'm maybe at the closest fire to me is probably 1,000 miles. So it shows you how bad it is in California. I'm downwind from California right now. That's why we can get that. It gives us red skies too. Beautiful red sunsets and sunrises.
So, Thrive, I'm not sure if the other two people are joining right now, but we can move on to Karen B, but then we can come back and talk about any of these things. And I say, series has got a video of maps to play. Karen.
Thanks again. Is it Alan?
Alan.
Yep.
Alan's the free energy.
Yes. Thanks again, Alan.
No problem.
Thank you.
Hello.
Same here.
Can
Yes,
you hear us?
I can.
So, your turn now to say whatever you want to Thrive.
Well, I thought I was just kind of presenting in general. I didn't know I was supposed to do something specifically for Mr. Thrive and Survive, but
Present.
You have to have it together when I'm on here. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to present anything. Just tell me what you do.
well, I just kind of do research in a few different areas. Mostly what I do is I run a sun tracking group on Facebook. And then I do some other stuff sort of in the background that isn't really out in the public eye yet. But I wanted to share some of the research that my group has been doing as far as observing the sun and the motion of the sunspots and how it is in contrast to what NASA tells you.
Cool.
And basically we think that it proves that that the Earth isn't going around the sun. The sun is actually rotating around us as we think it is. So I'll.
Did a lot of work with the eclipse, didn't you? You took a lot of footage of the eclipse.
I did, yeah.
See someone with a P900.
Yeah. But what we do is we have a few different people in our group, some of them, and they're in different areas. We've got people in Australia, South America, US, UK, and that sort of thing. And all of us will take, when we're doing observations of the sun, we'll take hourly shots of the sun throughout the day and throughout a week. And we document the cycle of the sunspots. And what we've noticed is that, excuse me, is that these sunspots seem to spiral. When they usually start on the outer edge of the sun, and then they spiral around and they end up towards the center. And then once they reach the center, they again spiral back out until they disappear. And these sunspot cycles last between 12 and 14 days. And we have I made here a little grid so you can see how the movement of the spot goes around the sun. You can see it spiraling in and out, even just in one day. So it starts out a little bit further out here, and just over the course of one day starts going in.
That's quite a bit different than what you get from a Soho image, isn't it?
Right.
Theirs is always a lateral line every time.
It's not laughing at you, Karen. He's just seen something in your work. That's what that is.
Well, I don't
Carry
get
on,
it.
Karen.
What happened?
Matt's seen something, and there you go. He's got a picture up. Can you see that?
Yeah, exactly. When you were talking, I was thinking that what I was going to talk about actually goes along pretty well with what you were talking about.
Wow.
This is the rest of your math. This is your math speaking.
Can I just say, because it's obviously Karen's going to be talking, but everything that Matt has done isn't because he went and looked it up. It's actually coming out of his head.
Yeah. So, and then this is the same day I just showed. The one I just showed you was from August 6th. So here's another observation from August 6th. And this one kind of perplexed me a little bit, because once it got towards the center, the spot actually went in and then back out again in the same day. And I double and triple checked my photos and times, because I thought it was wrong at first, but that is what happened. Because I had to redo this a couple times because I wasn't sure that it was right. So it seems like once the spot gets towards the center, I mean, eventually it does kind of, start going back out the other way. But once they get to the center, they have kind of an erratic movement sometimes. But obviously, if we're rotating around the sun at a constant rate, well, that doesn't really make sense, from what they tell us.
Matt's just showing you a picture, Karen.
So it actually changes direction also in the same day?
That day it did. It doesn't always happen. But for me, that day it did.
Wow. Yeah, you never ever see that with a NASA piece of crap,
No.
CGI that they're throwing up there. I can't believe people look at that. You can't believe they're not. I mean, can't people tell when they're looking at CGI? I mean, by now everybody should be able to recognize that. That stuff is as phony as it gets.
Yeah, you'd think.
Have you ever seen Wag the Dog?
Yes. Yes.
There you go.
Another one up now.
So this group of pictures is from David James. He's in the UK, I believe.
Yeah, he's part of Sun and Moon as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I did.
Ever go through the center, or is it only just around the center?
It goes all the way to the center, and then it doesn't ever go through the center. Once it gets to the center, it starts spiraling back out again. But it doesn't ever go all the way across like they tell you that it does.
Now, Karen, have you been able to pick up parallax with the same people taking pictures at the same time in different places on the Earth, where the spots are in different locations because of that?
Yes, I actually have some of those pictures too.
Wow, that's a killer of the heliocentric right there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and I have. Oops, I started Photoshop. I didn't mean to do that.
Karen, what do you think about the idea of the sun actually being a negative?
A negative?
And the moon's the positive.
I don't know.
That's what your yin yang's talking about.
Yeah, I know.
The moon's the greater light.
The moon being the greater light?
To rule the night.
Or the sun? I thought the sun was the greater light.
Because the sky is a day sky. The sun's not the sky. That's something else. Day sky and night sky are two different things. Has nothing to do with the light source. Has to do with the state of material.
What you mean to say is, say the sun was in the night, it wouldn't be as bright as what it looks like, because you've got all the day and the sky and the other light. So if you start them in the night time, both of them, the sun wouldn't be as bright. Do you know what Matt means? If you go to high altitude balloons and you see the sun up there, it never lights the black up.
Yes, I just did a video on that where the moon, no matter, what he's talking about is correct. There's something else about the daytime sky that's different, because the moon, even right next to the moon, it's bright enough to where we should see at least some blue near the moon, but we don't. Never. But yet you can see, and you can have a nice strong shadow. That's how bright the light is from the moon. And yet the sun can be well below the horizon, and barely, you can't even see a shadow, and yet you can see blue in the sky. So it has nothing to do with firing up our rods and cones, or cones actually.
No. I also want to point out, while we're talking about the moon, that Isis is the old name for the moon. Isis is an old occult name for the moon, in reference to the mother.
Yeah, Mother Goddess, yep.
So you got Sophia, Rhea, Isis, and they're all being symbolized and worshipped as the moon.
For that.
And the church and the religion today took the mother away from the female and the mother away from the equation, forced down our throats in a box in a masculine form.
Well, should we just finish what Karen's showing us, and then just open up for a discussion and stuff like that, and then everybody.
Yeah, no, I didn't know where we were going, so I just wanted to put that thought on it.
That's okay, Matt. You can come back in a minute. But we'll just finish with what Karen's showing us, and then it's very interesting. I've not seen the sun done quite like that before, Karen.
Okay.
The graph. There you are, back on you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so this next group of pictures here is actually an observation of the sunspot throughout the week. So as I scroll through, you'll see this spot that's right here. You'll watch it spiral in. So here's the next day. It's a little bit closer to the center, spiraling in. And then, of course, you know, you get the sun's a little bit distorted here from atmospheric distortion, but so then, and then the 5th, it's a little bit closer to the center, spiraling in.
Jumps, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, what we also noticed is that the movement of the spot is much slower early in the day and then in the later part of the day. But right around noon, solar noon, it moves much faster. So you get a lot more movement in a shorter amount of time when the sun is directly overhead, which is another killer against the heliocentric model.
And each person at their solar noon, it moves faster.
Right. Everybody notices that.
There's something with time that just fascinates me with that, and what I call the ecliptic pause, that I think connects to this. I won't get into that now. We'll see what you have. But to me, if you're seeing it at solar noon and somebody else sees it at solar noon and you're both can observe it at the same time, let's say it's noon, solar noon at your time, but it's 4 hours beyond it at somebody else's location, you're getting a faster movement than what they're seeing, which is fascinating to me.
Yeah,
how can that
exactly.
be? Because you're both still supposedly seeing it live at the same time. So
Right.
there's some kind of weird time element that we're not catching.
Yeah, exactly.
None of the images from NASA ever look like this with sunspots, ever. They're never
This
doing
is how
that.
No, they don't.
Shouldn't they? Should be doing
They
it by theory.
completely ignore they tell you that they move across the face of the sun from east to west is what they tell you, and they just don't even mention the spiraling effect that they have. They just completely leave it out. And one thing that I found too when I was researching this is I found an old astronomy book. It's the book that is referenced in 100 Proofs That the Earth is Not a Globe. It's written by R.A. Proctor, who was supposed to be one of the best astronomers of his time. And he has a section of, hold on, let me if I can, and I have these pages from his book. It's written before 1900. but he has a section in his book on the sunspots, and he also completely leaves out that movement, that spiraling movement. He talks about how when the sunspots are on the outer edge of the sun, they change orientation right here. You know, kind of, this is how why they think the sun is a sphere, because of the orientation of the spots. And I would tend to agree with that, because I've seen that myself too. But here, look at where he has the spot zone, the sunspot zone. I mean, clearly what I just showed you shows that that's in complete contradiction to what he says here. The other thing too, I also have queued up the video that NASA put out recently, showing you their version of how the sunspots move across the face of the sun and what we see. I'll play it for you real quick. It's very short.
Okay.
So right here, here's their animation. So here's the approximate size of Earth, but here they show you the sunspot just kind of gliding across the sun, east to west, completely ignoring that spiraling motion that anybody with a camera and a solar filter and who wants to take the time to take hourly pictures of the face of the sun can see it for yourself, and they completely leave it out.
Yeah. Seems to me this is a cartoon.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever noticed that they renumber the same spot? In other words, they might say spot 2354, and then it goes to the center, and then they rename it 2355 or whatever. The next one comes up. In other words, do they ever renumber the same spot?
I don't know how what their naming convention is for the spots, but it's kind of weird, because there's sometimes I see these, there's two little spots that'll show up on the face of the sun, and, you know, sometimes one will be bigger and smaller, and then it'll kind of change and, you know, do this way, but they're always, you know, in the same relation to each other. And I feel like sometimes it's the same spots that are just morphing, and then other times it's completely different. Like for instance, during the eclipse week, let me get my pictures up from, I monitored the sunspots during the eclipse. I was taking daily pictures on the, leading up to the day we had the eclipse. So here, let me share.
That feels like ages ago now.
I know. This one, I didn't put the graph on these yet, but you can see there was a big group of sunspots during the eclipse that was, this isn't the right group of pictures, but these are the, what the sunspots looked before the eclipse.
They're not moving east to west, they're rotating.
Yeah, well, it's right in the center. They're just kind of rotating around the center. Oops, sorry. That's a bad one. But, and the odd thing too was that we noticed, and I don't know that this really has any sort of relevance, or it could be a coincidence, although I tend not to believe really in coincidences anymore. But when the eclipse came through, the moon was following the line of these sunspots.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like the shadow entered and exited, almost like that was a line directing them, like a train track.
Yeah, kind of. It almost looked that way. And then you see a little group of spots showing up on the outside here. I can pull up my...
Now, these were taken where you cannot see the eclipse?
Right, that was leading up to the eclipse. It was a few days before.
So where was this? Oh, okay.
Remember who it was? I think it might have been David James, to be honest. He said, or someone said there's a lot more activity happening. Oh, I know. It was Robert Kidner. He noticed that there's a lot more activity happening on the spots before the eclipse.
Yeah, there was a lot of spots on the sun right before the eclipse. I'll show you my one real quick if you want to see. Let me show you my video of the eclipse, and you can see where the spots were and how the motion came in of the moon. Let me get there. Oh, well, I guess. So the moon came in from this direction. And then exited. Kind of in this direction.
That's another thing. What I noticed is no matter what footage I see of that eclipse, they did not enter and exit the way you would think it would. If it entered at 2 o'clock, you would think it would leave at 8, and that isn't what happened. It would enter at 2 o'clock, sort of like drop down to 6, and then leave at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it kind of does
like
this sort of thing.
Yes, like it's on the end of a pendulum.
Yeah. Exactly. So if let me see, bring this up again. I found the right group of pictures now. So this is leading up to the eclipse. So that's the 18th. Okay, here we go.
So there is actually in the middle, it is actually in the middle there, some of those sunspots.
Yeah, this group they were in the middle because there were so many of them, and usually we don't. Usually they don't get that close to the middle. So I don't know if that has any bearing on the eclipse or any connection to it, but I mean it seems like it could. Anyway, that's what we do. Those are the observations we make as far as the sunspots. And I think, I mean, in my opinion, there's no way we would see that if we were moving and everything the way that they say that we are.
Yeah, I agree. No way. And just one more thing that just pulls the model apart that they try to, I really think the worst thing that could have happened for the powers that be in NASA was for that eclipse to happen. Now that everybody's got P900s, and this is the first time anybody's really looking up since NASA's been in existence. I think that eclipse was the first event where a lot of people were looking at it critically for the first time. I found out that we've been lied to about all, and even down to all those moons that were being shown on the ground. Have you ever heard of that before? Never. I never heard of that. Those millions of moons being cast, or the partial eclipses being cast onto the ground. And yet one day, it was 1 or 2 days before the eclipse, NASA puts together this little piece, and it says, you can expect to see this during the eclipse. It's like, why is that not in the archives somewhere that this happens during eclipses? No, it's only when they know that somebody's going to capture that they have to come out and talk about that, because that shows that there was other devices causing that, not the moon moving in front of the sun. But anyway, it's just I think it was NASA's worst nightmare was to have that eclipse happen.
Yeah.
Well, they tried very hard to cover it all, didn't they?
Oh, I downloaded a video that somebody compiled the different NASA feeds where they had it live in Oregon, and then they had it live in the middle of the country somewhere, then live in South Carolina, and each one they showed a different thing. It was a different way the eclipse happened. Just total rubbish. It's like I think it was all in pre-production. Actually, I don't know what they did, but each one was totally different.
Yeah, oh well, even how the eclipse kind of went across the middle of the country, it was like if you were in the northern part of the United States, it was oriented one way, and if you were in the southern part of the United States, it happened the reverse from the north.
Right. And then there was I think it was Mike Helmick that caught it, that it was actually flipped reverse once you got down into Mexico. I mean, like mirror reverse. Which is crazy. And that's just a few hundred miles south of where I am.
Yeah, we know someone that's in Mexico. He's still in the northern hemisphere, but his eclipse came the other way.
Yeah, and it's impossible with the model. It just is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
You cannot explain that in the heliocentric model, no matter what you do. And there's not enough distance between the two observers to say, oh, well, you're on a different part of the ball. No, you're only like 20 degrees different. You're seeing a whole flip. There's a lot of mysteries that came out of that eclipse that I think
you know stuff, don't you? Then you find out. You think you know everything, and then you find out you know nothing.
Yep. It's because what we were told was nothing. Nothing we were told was the truth. So everything we discover is new.
Just to say that FPV has joined us.
Hello, Karen. Hello, everyone.
Hello there.
Have you come to say something then, FPV?
Yeah, I thought I'd just chip in. Remember that red sky we had with the red sun and the alleged sand coming down? I made a little video about it. If you want us to share it and
sure.
put it on here.
I'm so slow at the moment, but yes, I'll present you. Well, I've got it on you, so yeah, play it then. I know he's got white eyes. Matt's looking at your eyes.
But you'll have to let me know if it's not showing Windows Media Player because I can't tell.
Start the video.
Looks like it's going to.
Good afternoon, morning, or evening, whatever the case may be, while you're hearing this message as I speak to you live on the internet. That is a mockery of the Ethernet.
Who's playing that?
Series,
Yeah.
you playing? We'll play that one now because Series is playing it.
Oh. My hobby is the answer to everybody's problem. What I discuss and talk about is numerical relations to reality, how everything ties together in spectrum wavelengths, which is frequency, which is color, which is light, which is sound, and vibrational state of matter, how all can be tied together through a color coding. Understanding how color applies to numbers allows you to understand that you are living in an atomic, pixelated, 3D hologram. There's nothing more than an atomic state of matter. Atoms, many of them, billions and gazillions of them moving in relation to each other, forming many different energy clusters, all in different speeds of vibration. What is solid? What is physical? What has space in between it? What is solid? And by these understandings, then we are walking on nothing more than a plane inside a much larger atom. Everything is a vibrational state.
Oh yeah, see that spiraling motion right there? That's exactly what the spots do across the face of the sun.
Same thing. Using the same mathematical code and mathematical structuring that is expressed everywhere in our daily lives, and it's presented before our eyes daily, and it's presented to you in forms of mockery, Hollywood, fiction, music. They symbolize it. They turn its meanings upside down on its face. They stick a tongue at you and cover their creative spiritual eye and mock you because they are goats. They're children of the fucking goat. And their job is to deceive you and to keep you from understanding the truth of this place that you are walking in. You are not an evolved monkey. If you were an evolved monkey, then you'd be the one in the cage at the zoo. Because there'd be no more monkeys. You'd be the monkey. So your body consists of water, electricity, and mineral content. And the structure that creates every organism in your body, every system, is based on vortex mathematics. The symmetry in your face, your hands, your organs, in your body, everything. And it is unified into the same thing in its larger form. Only you can't recognize this because you can only see the flesh. But you need to understand that the soul comes first. The soul is the seed of the body. The body is the core. It is not the skin and the meat and the fruit of it. It's not the flesh. It's the soul. It's been turned inside out on you. And you as the masculine, and you as the feminine, and you as a baby sheep, EWE, you, we are all yous, baby sheep, in the kingdom of heaven. We're all made in the same image, male and female, and together the two, male and female, create a balance. Red and blue thinking. Use both to achieve your higher state of self, logic, and creation. Red sight and blue sight, and the two of them together, unified, makes purple, which is the coming masters. Or the ascended master. I've been working on a personal theory, the man in purple theory, I'm calling it. Every culture talks about a man wearing purple. Take all the names away for now. You just come to the understanding that there's many languages, and many languages comes many words and many names. And a simple understanding that they're all talking about the same guy appears to be coming out of this equation. Because the funny thing is, they all look the same. So when you go back and look at this and realize that there's no zero, and you just look at digits, and you look at them slowly and carefully, and you consider everything about them. You look at the sum of them, the sum of all digits is 36. The points in a circle is 360, but there's no zero. Drop the zero, there you go, there's 36. And 3 plus 6 is 9. And by halving the circle, no matter how many times you half it, the pi portions are always going to add to 9. 180, 90, 45, 22.5, 11.25, on and on and on. These numbers, the sums of all the numbers in the pi portion will always add up to 9 as you're halving and reducing the state. It's always pointing to the value of the whole, which is 9 in the middle. So everything is hues and vibrations and portioned in threes, and you start looking around and you look at the chemical state of things, you look at the mineral state, the crystal state, you look at the gas state, you look at water state, you look at the season state. Everything breaks in threes. The most confusing one is the one I'll present to you first, and we'll walk them in what I call the order, right? So you look at your gases, you got carbon monoxide, nitrogen, helium, red, blue, and yellow gases, see? And then you go time. Time is the trick. Time is seasons. And seasons have 12 houses. And the 12 houses are 30 degree circle. 30 times 12 is 360. but there's a created vertices in the center of the 12, which gives you a 13th point. Well, I kindly want to go back to Israel, Moses in the beginning of there in Exodus. They built 12 white stones, pillars, around a center black stone. 12 stone pillars for the 12 sons of Israel, Jacob, and a center stone for the father. 12 plus the center is 13. And you go look at the American dollar bill. You got 13 arrows, you got 13 stripes, you got 13 olive leaves on the, and 13 times 4 is 52. 52 weeks in a year, they tell you. Well, if there's 52 weeks in a year and you multiply that out, then you get an answer of 364, not 365. So how many days in the year is there? Is it 364? Is it 365? Is it 360? What the hell's going on here? Do you see what I'm showing you? The numbers don't lie, people. The numbers don't lie. So everything was based on lunar cycles. That's why the Hebrew calendar had 13 months and 28 days. 13 times 28 is 360. 360. So 360 is the key here, understanding what I call the law of the circle. Everything fits inside a circle and spherical ratio numbers. And as you work it, you'll realize they're nesting numbers. They fit inside of each other. And you go, the first step out of the hole is 270 degrees. And the most famous icon for this would be fucking Pac-Man. Look at that. There's your logo for 270 degrees, fucking Pac-Man. 180 degrees. That's how you get 2 points in the circle, duality, opposition. 3 points is your fucking peace sign or a broken crucifix. However you want to fucking symbolize it. Understand it has different meanings. And these sounds are for your eyes. It's more information than you realize. Every religion is worshiping the created world. And the created world is what I call the cube, Earth, this manifested physical place that's based in sound vibrations. It's not even fucking real. Everything about this place is a vibration, and the vibration is based on how your eye sees it, and your eye sees based on how much information you know, how many books you've read, how much education you've given yourself, what you chose to read, what you chose to feed your mind and your ears, your soul food. There's more than physical food, there's spiritual food too, whether you're aware of it or not. The movies that you eat, the music that you listen to, the sounds that you sleep to, all these things affect your soul on a vibrational state. They change the frequency of your spirituality and your mentality. They affect you. Birds of a feather, they flock together because of the food that they eat, mentally, metaphysically, and physically. Look around at your cliques and your groups. People hang out together because they have common interests. They vibe on the same frequencies. Look around. There's only 3 colors, red, blue, and yellow. Everything else is a mixture of. Those 3 colors make the sum of the whole. The point in the middle, the black point in the middle, the black cube in the center of the 12 sons, the father in the middle. But it's not father, it's mother. That's the deception. That's the deception. Matter is mother. And the heart of mother is in the center of the sun. And we're being blinded by her, by all these distractions of this fake neon, which is no God, none light. Neon, switch 2 letters, none light. None light. You're going to be rebirthed into this plane. In other words, you're going to be stuck in fucking hell and reincarnated on this plane and have to come back here and learn all your lessons all over again. It's hell. Reincarnation is you failed school. You have to go back and do it all over again. I'm just trying to do a quick summary of everything that's going on, and well, I'm waiting for my laundry to get done here, so, you know, This is a food for thought kind of channel, if you haven't heard any of my videos before. So the manipulation of language occurred 560 years ago, and 4 letters were added to our language and our understanding. And those letters are Roman Catholic Church 558 years ago in the 14th century. By Pope Alexander, they cast the image, and the image of his nephew, Caesar Borgia's image, and they created the name Jesus using the initials of his father, Julius Caesar, JC. See this? Father, Son. And he used the son's image and the father's initials, Father, Son. And they're hailing fucking Zeus, Jesus. Dr. Zeus, Jesus. They created a man-made image, and they rewrote and created a man-made culture, and they wrote themselves in as victims so that they could be the big beneficiaries of the future. Don't you dare pick on those fucking Jews. Well, let me tell you something. 2,000 years ago, that letter J wasn't even a part of any culture. So if there's no J, there's no Jesuits, there's no Jews, there's no Jesus, there's no Jerusalem, there's no Judah, Judas, nada. A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y. Because Christ's name was spelled Yahshua. And he wasn't black, he wasn't white. He was Middle Eastern black. He was nappy-headed with hair, he had a fro. His skin was dark melatonin, and he was hung from a tree. And his shadow on the ground is a crucifix. There's your mockery of truth, your shadow of truth, your reflection of truth, your shadow. They're mocking the hanging of Christ. And then you can understand why the KKK likes to hang black people, because they're mocking and symbolizing the hanging of Christ on the tree of life and spilling his blood over and over and over again throughout time. I do this YouTube channel because I feel like it's moral and it's the right thing to do because of what I understand and what I know. And what I know is the truth. Numbers don't lie. People lie. Religions lie so they can have an ego and control things. I'm not interested in fucking control. I'm only interested in the truth. My forefather, Saint Germain, wrote the laws of alchemy, the Hermetic sun. But Saint Germain wasn't his real name. That was a deification by the Roman Catholic Church to hide his name. Because his name was Merlin or Merlin, and he was a dragon lord, king of serpents.
Whoa. Thanks for that. The reason this is all amazing is you just heard Karen B say that she saw her work in Matt's work. And then Matt and Siri see their work connecting. Everybody's connecting one way or another. So that's what's amazing about all these people coming together.
Yes, truth has one common root.
Interlink. FPV, you wanted to play a video as well? Thank you, Matt. We love Matt.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, good job, Matt. Nice. Yeah, it was regarding
FPV put that together. FPV put that together for Matt. But anyway, over to you, FPV.
It's Matt's work. He gets all the credit. Yeah, it's regarding the red sun we had a few days ago and this alleged sandstorm. I made a video when the sun was out, and you can see the sky being chemtrailed. And I took a swab off my car windscreen a bit later in the day and put it under a 200 times microscope. So I'll just play that for you. I'll just mute the sound that it plays. It's self-explanatory. I'm no sand grain expert, but there's things in there I don't recognise. See what you think anyway. I'll share it
now. Where is it? Where is it then? I see, here it comes.
If this was television, it'd be a pregnant pause.
It's coming. We've got a black screen there, FPV.
Yeah, black screen in a media player window.
FPV?
Yeah, it's Windows Media Player. Hold on, I'll reshare it.
We have this problem before when Dave Marsh is trying to show stuff. Is it on YouTube? Can you play it off YouTube?
No, I just finished compiling it about 5 minutes ago. Hold on. It's still not showing, yeah?
No, we've just got a blank screen.
We see the player, but we don't see the video playing in it. We see the black screen of the...
Is there any way you could just quickly upload it to YouTube and then show it that way, FPV?
Your whole thing and then just switch over fast to the player, and that works. Because then you have...
I wish I had a connection that fast, Karen. I haven't. Hold on, I'll try again.
We have this problem when people are trying to show on media, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, media player. Yeah. VLC works.
We can see your cursor.
Maybe out of full window, or I don't know.
Yeah, we're not seeing anything FPV.
Yeah, hold on. I'll try a different program. I don't know why it's not playing that.
It's quite amazing though how all these people's work interlinks though, isn't it, Rich? You know, like to come across all these people is just amazing.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It's just amazing to me that you know, you're a small group and you have what, 2,000 people watch you, whatever. It doesn't matter how many people watch you, it's the quality of the people that you have that's so amazing.
Yeah, well, we're really proud of hopefully making a community as well.
Yeah, it's like a magnet that you've created that's attracting the right pieces.
But I only bring the make the platform really. It's everybody else's work that's the most important.
Well, everybody has the part in the wheel, so to speak, to make it turn.
Yeah. I mean, even meeting Doc, you know, how amazing is that? I go to Leicester and I meet Doc and he's now part of our family. So it is quite amazing because I never, you know, how I met him is just amazing and all his work. So yeah, oh, here we go. We've got something up there. We can see some writing.
Can you see those pictures I put in the sidebar?
I've already put them out.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, those are. I just didn't know if you could see them in the chat box for people.
Yeah, I've done that. I messaged back to you that I've put them out in the chat room. Right. So FPV, do you want to talk us through it?
I'll have to put I'll just leave it playing, Karen. Otherwise, I'll be putting the screen in front of that and not seeing what's going on. I'll mute myself and let it play. You can't see it, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. What you're going to see is the sun in the sky in that video, and then microscope zoom in on some particles that took off my car windscreen.
Fibers.
Not exactly Sahara dust.
I'm no expert on grains of things, but those strands look quite interesting. I've never seen anything like that before.
I think that's Morgellons. That's chemical weapons.
Yes, that's the stuff that's causing the Morgellons disease. And the fibers that grow out of your skin, out of lesions. Yeah, that's it.
That's
exactly
what it is right there.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what they're spraying in the air.
And you talk about weird. I never heard of anything about that at all until like 2 days ago. These things are not.
Oh yeah, it's wicked stuff. To keep magnets in your pockets is supposed to keep that at bay. Magnets.
Really? Okay. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how this stuff comes together. No coincidences.
My work has been I mean, 0 point energy is one aspect of my work, but also forms new kinds of medicine. My work is medicine, literally a new form of healthcare.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately where you drive what you're doing.
Yeah. But my work treats cancer as a living thing. And that's different. It acknowledges that as living, and you can kill its vibration. Trick it into dying.
Yeah, so you're not trying to kill every cell in the body. Like
no, you can. No, what I'm looking at doing is change. I understand that I can change the vibration of the body by this energy with it, and it's safe because this is the natural current of your heart. It's the same energy, but you can change the speed of it up and down. Changes the vibration of you, and it puts your body in an environment where the cancer can no longer function. So it'll kill the cancer. Will think the host is dead.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Wasn't there somebody who did that before? They used a certain frequency to destroy the cancer in somebody. Like they actually did cure somebody of cancer by doing that. I thought I read about that.
Now, Dr. Schumann patented all the frequencies for using sound waves to cure cancer in 1955.
Yeah.
But what I come to understand was how to do it was through copper. It's copper energy. It's negative and using the magnetism of metals. So you're creating a state of confusion, which is the very definition of electricity. But the material of the electricity you're creating is the same as your heart. It's the same electricity. So it's safe. It's when you handle this electricity on small voltages, it's very cold. It's not hot. It's very cold. So it doesn't hurt you, and it feels like goosebumps. But more, it almost makes you laugh because it's putting you into a higher state of vibration.
I could use some of that.
But yeah, I'm and because of doing it now, like by understanding this confusion, I could feel the magnetism in the air. I know when my phone's gonna ring before it rings off the hook. I know who's gonna walk up my driveway before they knock on the door because I can feel it. I may not know who they are, but I am aware of their presence on my property.
Yeah, all these things I think are innately in us, but it's been shut down.
Right? No, absolutely.
Rich, I want to ask you something. Matt's very sensitive anyway. Rich, on your hands, look at your hands, and in the palms of your hands, do you see M's?
Yes.
Matt, explain what that's about. Woohoo, another one. Matt, explain to him the M's.
Are you laughing, Karen? Because that's true. Are you the firstborn son in your family?
Yes.
This is a biblical thing. The firstborn sons, and even I talked to a man earlier today, but when you understand he was the 9th son, but realize 9 is 1, it still applies to that position as well. But anyway, the firstborns are set aside. They're almost always the black sheep of the family.
Right. The first one is set aside for the Lord, right?
Yes, and they're always that negative blood state. Almost always. So that's why I'm going to ask you if you got like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you have sugar deficiencies, you get tired, headaches.
You're pretty much describing my life.
That's why right there, because you're sugar crashing.
Yeah, and my blood is O negative.
So yeah, you got a negative factor. That's copper. You copper-based blood, not iron. You see, they're tricking us. What they do is they don't tell you that there's positive and negative blood types. See that?
Yeah.
AB negative is neutral. There's 6 to the left and 6 to the right, and AB negative is neutral.
Tell him what the M's mean.
The M means, in ancient times, it has several meanings. It could mean Messiah, magician, magic eyes, muse. You are the descendant. You're the firstborns are typically the evolutionary state of the genetics for that family line. So that means you're higher functioning than your family members. You understand more than they can because you were designed to understand more. You were evolved higher in your thinking.
And so these M's are typically in the firstborn only?
It means you're super sensitive. It means
mostly flat earthers.
You can see into people.
I'm not kidding.
Things people don't know.
Most people that have the M, they know something's wrong. They don't know what it is, so they act out, and therefore they become the black sheep. See?
Yeah, gotcha.
A lot of flat earthers are RH negative too. I'm RH negative as well.
Bam! Sometimes I'd like to be me.
Not everybody has M's on their hands, but some people do. I thought you said it was family. That means that we all belong to the same family. Same family.
Yeah, and that is what our job is to do. If you think about us as if you talked about people being tuning forks, we changed the body to a tuning fork, and everybody's in a different clique of people, and they're putting out a certain frequency tune. Our job in our particular tune is to raise the vibrational state of the other tuning forks around us because we're more aware. We feel more, see more, understand more. So our job is to bring and raise and help those around us to feel, see, and understand more, to raise the vibrational state.
Does that resonate with you then, Rich? Does that resonate with you?
Yes, it does. How about this one too? Low body temperature, low blood pressure.
RH
yeah, that's normal with RH negative. It's very normal. My average. I could walk. I scared the hospital several times, but what I understand is everything's an emotion, including pain. That's a misconcept. Pain is not a thing. It's an emotion. It's a signal to your brain telling you that you're hurt. That's all it is.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Having gone through severe pain and really bad pain while I was going through divorce, saw a counselor. Brilliant woman. She's the one that put me in contact with that. She said, you get rid of your emotional baggage, your pain will go away. And as soon as I started working on the emotional baggage, the pain started going away.
Right. So what I understood at a young age was that pain itself was an emotion. Even feeling an injury, that's a feeling. Everything's a feeling, and that's an emotion. And it goes right back to what I said earlier, is that feeling things is an option. You don't have to feel them.
Yeah.
You can acknowledge that they're there.
The way she put it, she said the emotions in the brain itself. The brain itself will search for a weak spot in the body to manifest the emotion of pain. Is the way she put it. So if you got a little bit of a degeneration in a disc, or a little bit of a swollen knuckle, or you had a broken bone somewhere, that's where you'll get arthritis pain, what they'll call arthritis pain or whatever. But she said she said, get rid of the emotional baggage, the pain will go with it.
Yeah.
Hey,
and she was right.
Matt, someone in chat wants to know if you know what it means when they have 4 to 5 lines on their palms.
As far as palm, that's palm. I haven't looked into palm reading. I only understand the M because it affected me personally. Hand positions and things like that, I know plenty of, and then the alphabet for the hands. But lines. I never really looked into it.
Mm.
4 and 5, I will tell you numerically that they represent the physical. The 4 is your time space, and 5 is elemental matter. So you're talking about principalities and direction. 4 and 5.
How about this, Matt? It seems to me like 3, 6, and 9 has followed me my whole life. But once I moved to Arizona, 3s, 8s, and 5s seems to follow me. And I don't understand that, but a lot of 5s especially.
See, when I look at numbers, because of how I grew up in a dysfunctional family, and literally like half of Americans, I was raised in front of a television. So when my parents were yelling and screaming, I started adding numbers.
Yeah.
And I started adding the numbers in the commercials. And that's including the addresses, the zip codes, the phone number, the price tag, or whatever they're trying to sell you, and have a personality of a single digit of everything I just added on the screen back down to one number before it got over.
Wow.
I used to do that fine.
Where do you live here?
I live in Bangor, Maine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I put on there, I used to make a joke out of it. Doesn't matter really where my physical location is, because really it's just one thing. It's just what place in the thing am I. So I used to just change the city or wherever I was. One time I said I was in North Korea. Just change it up. It is what it doesn't. But no, I live here in the States, and all this technology, I've tried everything I'm showing you and explaining to you. I've tried outreaching in my local communities with it, and they laugh at me. They reject everything I show them because I don't have a high school or a college degree.
Of course, that means you haven't been indoctrinated.
Right, and that's why I got on here and started doing this. Yeah, I got my GED when I was 20. I tested out in the top 5% for my state on a pretest. I didn't even do any GED classes. They just gave me my GED based on what I already knew. I said, here you go. You're in the top. I was like 97%, they said. But the curious thing I point out to people is on that piece of paper, it tells you that in reverse engineering, I was perfect. Perfect. That means I can take something that's there and I can break it down to nothing and then put it back together again. And that's what I did with creation, is I reverse engineered creation in its order.
Well, that sounds like it's fascinating.
And that's how I figured that out is we got cut off from our hearts, and that's what it is. When you look at the Jewish star, it's 6-pointed star, and it's representing the physical body. And there's 6 points around the body: the hands, the head, your butt, and your feet. That's 6 points. And from the butt to the head, that's the axis. That's your polarity. That's the plane of existence. That's your spine. And all the energy is centering in your heart. That's what's referred to as a star. It's a Merkaba. But what they're trying to do in their belief system is cut you off from the center point by don't even show you that's ever there.
Yeah,
they just show you the outside points. That's the symbols. See, I'm showing you what they're showing you in the symbols. I'm translating the symbols into spoken understanding. So they're ignoring the created point in the center of the Star of David. So they're showing it as a 6-pointed star when really it's 7. They're not counting the creator in the middle of it. So they're taking his understandings in the act of creation and they're mocking it. They're turning it upside down on the face of its meaning and throwing it right back in your face. And what you're doing is being squared into this physical realm of what your eyes can see. And you're not listening to your heart. You're being squared away from your heart. And you look at a Star of David, it's nothing more than a spinning box. You put a cube on a point and you spin it. It's a 6-pointed star. You take the crucifix, it's the same thing. It's another symbol expressing the same idea of a cube. The crucifix is an unfolded cube. The words of Christ, he is talking about the sheep being foolish and perishing because of tombstones and milestones swinging around their neck. Well, would you consider a crucifix a unfolded tombstone or a milestone swinging around your neck? A trap ready to be sprung on your soul? A soul trap, a box for your soul?
Would you consider the crucifix a 4?
You got to remember, you got to plus always when you're looking at the shape of something, look for the center first. So really, when you're talking about a crucifix, you're talking about 5.
5,
because
okay,
of the center point. Because there's a center point.
Yeah,
so,
I was wondering if that was part of it.
Yeah, that's all part of it. So when you look at it, just you're breaking it down. When you look at 1, you can look at it from 2 different ways. You can look at 1 as representation of a whole state, or the center point in a circle, or a dot on the paper. It just depends on perspective. And then when you look at the number 3, this is where it blows people's mind. 3 is just a line. It's just a line on the paper because it has a middle point. Every shape has a middle point. You look at a triangle, it has a created point in the middle, so it has a 4th point. Every shape has a created center point. So a square has 5 points. This is a center point.
So if we go back to the crucifix and it's a 5, what color does that associate with, and what emotion, or is there any kind of association there?
5 is a yellow electric state, and what the 5 represents is principalities. You're talking about earth, wind, spirit, all the elemental parts of reality, the makeup, the genetic makeup, what makes this thing, what makes the loaf, what's in it. So it took electricity, it took fire, wind, water, spirit, and earth. But when you look at those things and you start evaluating them, this is what blew my mind, is that soil is the previous state of sound that's already gone by.
Interesting.
Soil is resonance. In a massive, when you're looking at it from outside of space-time, just looking at it from the show, that's exactly what dirt is. It's resonance, it's entropy, it's the exhaust fumes, whatever you want to call it. It's the residue, it's the result of sound, time, current, already gone by. So you're walking literally on a sound line, which is soil.
So are you saying that soil is the byproduct of something that used to be alive with resonance, but now it's dead?
Right. It's the result of dead matter. And think about it.
Gotcha.
Everything's dead matter. Oil can be extracted from a tree.
Right. Makes sense.
Everything is compressed matter, oil. And that's one of the deceptions of like dinosaurs and stuff. My man Trey Smith, he goes right into detail about carbon dating testings and how inaccurate carbon dating is. Because when you understand carbon dating, it's all about pressure. Okay, right. I could take 1,000,000 pounds of pressure and do it in 1 minute, or I can do it in 1,000,000 years and get the same amount of pressure.
Yeah, carbon dating is one of those things that should be laughed at, like people laugh at flat Earth.
And Trey Smith was showing they excavated a dinosaur out of a gravesite, and carbon dating tried to tell you that the dinosaur was 6 million years old, and the tree that was laying on top of it was 40 million years old. How the heck does that happen? How does a 6 million year old thing get underneath of a 40 million year old thing?
I guess the tree did a number 2 when the dinosaur popped out.
Something, right? So how we get mass extinction is, see, what they're trying to do is account and wipe away from our understanding the flood. The flood is a natural piece of history in almost every religion. Every religion says there was a flood. If our society was to acknowledge the fact that there was a flood in its thinking, it would throw everything that's been trying to throw down your throat for the last 50 years. You should just throw it in a trash can, because that's what it is. It's trash. It's all trash. The number systems, we're taught on a line instead of a circle. And when you work with a circle with numbers, your mind sees shape. It sees spherical understanding. It sees dimensions. It trains your mind to see these things. But you're taught on a line, so you become linear. That's why I do what I do, because that's what they did to our brain, is by destroying the meaning of numbers. They de-evolved the brain. The numbers is at the heart of all of it. Numbers express color, they express electricity, positive, negative, neutral value, and this allows you to see the tethers to every state. Like you're making a lasagna, you can see all these things just stack and they compress and they make our reality this pixelated hologram that we're living in. It's just vibrational states from one thing to the next.
Well, you're talking about what numbers should be used for. They should be used for representation instead of trying to prove something, because numbers can't prove anything.
No.
All they can do is represent.
No, and right, and if in that 3D diagram, what you're seeing, if you the red and blue, how I had it all laid out, the red and blue yellow power flower.
Right.
The reason why I highlighted the numbers the way I did, because so you could see that that was the association. That's their state. Those are the red numbers. Those are the blue ones. Those are the yellow ones.
Now, do you know, I'm just trying to apply this to something in daily life. Let's just say that you're trying to make a decision between two items on a menu, and one adds up to a number that is usually favorable to your residence, let's say, and the other is not favorable. Would you pick the one? Let's say all other factors are neutral. Would you pick the one number that generally agrees with you, or am I looking at this at a totally wrong way?
No, you're right. Tesla had habits like that. He did. He did a lot of things based on values of 3, 6, or 9. He had a lot of peculiar things he would do because of it, because of understanding numbers on this level. I have a tendency of scheduling appointments around numbers that benefit me. Just a habit I've done since a child, and schedule all my appointments. You know, it seemed like a natural thing to do. But when you understand numbers, how they relate to order, then when you're looking like, say just Joe's birthday is January 18th, 2000, just for easy numbers here, right? So there's no zeros. So the only values in this equation are the 1 and the 18, and that's really 10. But there's no zero, so his value is a 1, and that's a blue number, and his tendencies are towards a neutrality and consciousness and current and energy. That's something you can tick off on numbers, just on anybody.
And you find that associations with like birth dates and things like that hold true?
Yes, 100%.
Awesome.
100% with these things, because it has to do with the wheel. It has to do with the rotor's wheel that we are living in, this reality of everything moving. You know, I had a random guy over here talking to me earlier. He's from DeVry, and he understands what I call these triangles. He calls it fractorials. And that's what they teach it in computer teching, is that these are fractorials. That's what they're showing, but it's not fractorial, it's triangles. Because everything's right angles onto the center. It's all angled onto the center, the middle of creation. Everything builds up to that point. You're talking about a cone or an elliptical spiral. But it's positive and negative. So which way does sound travel? It travels in every direction. So it travels from every direction from the center. We don't even acknowledge there's a center. That's what happens when you teach numbers on a line.
Now, do you tie this in with like power of attraction and things like that?
Right. Yes, absolutely. This is all all old understanding too. Like this. Okay, this Bible I bought I bought this Bible a month ago. Okay.
Uh-huh.
This Bible is 70 years old. And inside this Bible are 73 books. Today's Bible only has 66.
Right.
They subtracted 7 books to send you into a complete state of confusion.
Well, I agree with you, and I'm not going to hold back on stuff like that anymore. To me, they've
No,
thrown
so
out.
I'm right here. I have, and this is the Catholic Church's Bible right here. This is a Freemason Bible. This is a Solomon's keys, and Solomon is sound keys. When you think keys, think piano. Don't think. See what I mean? They're spelling words and bending your mind to different meanings of the same sound.
Right. Yeah, I got you.
It's a game, and what they're doing is something called, that's magic. That's real spelling. Spelling is an action, and it's a thing. It's something you do. You're casting spells. You're writing spells. You're being a witch.
And as
Or
we
a
know,
wizard, or it depends on your intent. Right. See, original people didn't even have a written language because they were telepathic. That's how far down the line, how evolved we've become.
Yeah, I got you there.
The way our brain and our understanding of the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant isn't a physical thing. It's inside your skull. It's the left and right hemispheres of your brain wrapped around your cortex that runs down your spine. And they meet at the point at the top of your spine. That's your cortex. All the information goes to the cortex. That's your consciousness. That's you. It's the only part of you that is you. The only thing that is you is what you decide to do, because that's what defines you. Not your clothing, not your job, not your name. And you're not the body, so you're what's inside the body. But what's inside the body is not you either. It's a part of the whole. So really, you're nothing and you're everything.
Yeah,
it's all about what you decide to do with what you're experiencing. Do I want to behave with the right fist and the left eye, the sun eye, and the right fist? Or do I want to handle things with the moon eye and the left hand? Or do I want to be purple and just deal with it? There's nothing I can do about it. It's our choice. It's a Sim City. We pick our clothes, we pick our jobs, we pick our friends. You can't pick your family, and you can't pick your friend's nose, but I mean, you pick everything. You choose everything. And how we feel about it, that's your choice too. And all day, your friends and your family and the television tells you how to feel. And the truth is, you don't have to feel anything. It's a choice.
Yeah,
that's what they don't want you to understand, because feeling is about getting you on common ground. Because if I can make you feel something, I can get you to go to the left. I can get you to go to the right, because I got you a connection between me and you, a common ground point. You see this? An emotional line.
Yeah, well, you know as well as I do, if you're in sales and marketing, that's how you lead people to consume.
Exactly. And that's how you fish for men. And that's what they do. They fish for you with your feelings and turn you into a cod fish. Fish hook.
Yep.
pH.
We need to change we need to wake people up to say, these people only have authority over you because you give it to them. But the problem there is most people want the authority over them. They're so scared of their own, you know, they need their own protection, their own whatever. They're scared to death of their coffee pot. You know, the coffee's going to burn them. Over here they have some lady sued McDonald's because she drove up and got a coffee and it spilled on her and it was hot. And because it didn't warn her that she could be burned, she actually went to court and won. And that's only possible when a society is just babying everybody for every little thing. So it's just, these people are just I don't know. The people of the world are so far indoctrinated and deep into. I don't know. To me, there's a portion of the population that is rapidly waking up, and the other part is just so deep into the rabbit hole that's been created for them that they're never going to wake up. It's just you need to flush out a new generation, in my opinion. I just can't see it happening in this generation. Just how do you get through to people that want the authority? They want people to. Here they pay people for HOAs, homeowners associations. I can't get it. I just don't get why you want to pay somebody to tell you when to take your trash in, and just I could go on and on. But to me, I'm hopeful on the one hand because many people are getting so many of these truths, but so many people are so programmed to reject it that, and it will come down to eventually people saying, we don't recognize you as authority anymore. And that's going to be people like us. And the rest of the people are going to be against us because they love the authority. So, sorry for the rant.
Oh, no, that's all right. I'm a little bit upset that that's come up again. Like, you know, yeah, okay, there might be things on it, but you just think, oh my goodness, you're just sharing information that's already there and you're not allowed to do it. We're not trying to promote it's ours. We're not making any money. This is, you know, Sun and Moon isn't there to make any money. It's there for the people. So you're just showing it to the people and you're not allowed to show it.
Well, it sounds like they've got obviously somebody watching you, or they have an automatic algorithm that shows that if you're playing a video in a live stream, I don't know. But how do they know it's not your video? I understand that wasn't your content. You know, I mean, you weren't the man talking, but it's on your channel, and they had no problem with you putting it on your channel.
It keeps popping up. It keeps popping up. The Hangout on air will end if you continue broadcasting content you are not authorized to use.
Even though you're not broadcasting any content right now, other than us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's making sure I don't broadcast anything else, and we're going to have to cut that bit out of the Hangout. Oh, hang on a minute. Matt's saying something. Hang on, Matt. I turned you down because you were moving around. Sorry, Matt. What were you saying?
I said you have no authority to speak. You only speak slave speak. Or we will kill you. Which they're already doing to you slowly, daily, with the toxins in your food, the bleach in your sugar, the bleach in your flour. Do you think that's good for your intestines to eat bleach? Do you think it's good when they put industrial TBC in the freaking cereal that you're selling to your kids called Lucky Charms? Put a happy face on a product that's poison and kill you? When you look up pharmacology, it's poison, it's witchcraft, it's potion making. They're making slow metal poisons. They're trying to kill you. And you look at the word doctor in the mirror and you got rock cod. They're trying to rot the cod, the fish. From the inside out, they will rot you, they will rule you, and then they will kill you.
And make a profit along the way.
You're a rat on a hamster wheel with a dollar bill in front of your face being told to dance like a flopping fish on a line.
And most people are happy to do the dance. That's what gets me.
That's because they've been told to be happy about it. You got the guys like David Icke who are their side disinformants. They're giving you 80% truth with a 20% lie. They give you the fact that you're living in a box, and they tell you that it's a matrix, and they tell you it's this and that and the other thing. They don't tell you is that you have choice. They don't tell you the way out. They tell you to conform to it and like it. And no one ever tells you how to get out. What I've showed you is how to get out. No one talks about how to get out because no one wants to say this is the way out. Because no one knows the way out.
And when people become unhappy about it, they put them on Zoloft.
They give them a check and label them mentally disabled.
Right. Take your gun away. Take your defense away.
Yeah. Yeah. And you start looking about guns, and you start realizing they're using a vetting process, just like Hitler did against everybody in the population. History's repeating itself. Nothing new under the sun. Start vetting the population, domestic violence, chemically prescribed medications, psychotropics. If you've been in a mental ward, if you got a label of domestic abuse or felony, if you have a payee on your Social Security, you're no longer able to have a firearm if you have any of those things under your name.
Here in Arizona, you can be addicted to all kind of street drugs or heroin or opioids or whatever, and you can own a gun. But if you smoke marijuana, you can't have a gun.
I have a domestic violence on my record because I punched my brother in the face, and the neighbors heard him screaming like a little girl, and they called the cops. I can't have a gun because my brother robbed me, and I beat the shit out of him.
How old were you?
I was 23 years old, and I was labeled for domestic violence for beating the shit out of my thief of a brother who was younger than me and needed his ass kicked. Who else is supposed to do it?
And how long ago was this?
Oh, it was 10 years ago, but now I have a lifetime ban. I'm not eligible to have a gun.
Wow.
Because, see? This is what they do. If you get into an argument, a yelling match in your own home, you can be labeled for domestic violence, and there goes your gun rights.
Well, you know how it is here too. With I don't want to get into male-female thing, but a female can pretty much say anything about her husband or boyfriend, and you're done. The system is just we'll go with the whatever the woman said. She can any woman can do you in anytime here with just words.
There's a reason why, because this is all under Selinsky. This is all under Salinsky.
Yeah.
Rules for radicals. How to take over a nation, how to cause turmoil and cause social collapse, how to destroy a country from the inside out. You destroy it by attacking the woman.
Obama's playbook.
It's not Obama's playbook. It's an ancient playbook. It's gone on for hundreds of years. Obama's just a puppet.
No, what I mean is he's a Salinsky follower.
Yeah, well, they all are. Stalin, Zhao Zing, all them guys, Hung, they all do the same crap. You control the women, control the genetics, control the woman, you have the child in your clutches, so you got the woman and the child for the price of one, and the man's going to follow. Hook, line, and sinker, you get the whole family just by controlling the woman.
Yep.
And you realize that, and you go, look, this country got slowly started decaying right after they started giving women rights to vote. And turn after right around World War II, look every 10 years at the family nucleus, and you can just watch it rot away.
Where's
the mom at? Where's the mom at? The mom became state employees. Most women and most people in government are women, more women than men.
Oh, that's true. You can hardly find them.
Where did they come from? Where did the women come from? They came from welfare homes who got state grants to go to college to become caseworkers to tell other people how to raise their children. And they were too busy in school and being indoctrinated by the government to raise their own kids. So where's the mom at? Gone. They got her working for the state.
Well, the whole point is to break up society. That's the whole point, because they've put us in some kind of cartoon.
It's being conditioned into your brain in cartoons as well. Walt Disney cartoons. Every Walt Disney cartoon is categorized around loss of mother. Every one of their movies there's no parents. Where's the parents at? There's no mom. Specifically, it's the loss of mother, but loss of parents. Every movie. All of them. Every cartoon. It's about loss of mom. Where's the mom at? Bambi, Little Lion King, where there's no mother. Ever.
Yeah, that's true. There isn't. If there is, they kill them off.
The mother always dies or she's never in the picture.
Yeah.
So now we got a society full of angry women blaming men for the problems. Where's the mom at? It's a control tactic that's Halian dialect that's 1,000 years old. That's how to control society, by controlling and manipulating the women.
Can I just say, Matt, that Thrive says he could be here for 3 hours. It's 3 hours, and I just wondered if FPV says it's too busy, so he's gone quiet. But I just wondered if anybody, if Thrive has anything to say to anybody. Karen's obviously gone now, but we've still got Doc and Matt. Is there anything you want to say? Because I know that you want to go, Thrive. Well, you know, you can stay 3 hours.
No, other than just thanks again for another great presentation by everybody. Just fantastic. It's just unbelievable what's right there under your nose, so to speak. You just gotta poke it in there. And I think that's why I want to get it away from flat Earth, so to speak, directly. There's so many other things that are going on that if you focus on one for, I don't know. I have that mentality now of we have this saying over here. I gave it the office. And that's the way I feel right now with flat Earth. You know, I think I've done my bit, and I'd like to get into some other things too. And you guys are into those other things, so it's fantastic, and I want to thank everybody for that.
I thank you.
Well, the few people that didn't turn up today, you'll come back for another night of this, won't you? But I'm not playing any more videos like that online anymore, because it's just
okay. You got it.
A bit out. But yeah, you'll come back soon, won't you?
I will. It'll probably be after I'm doing that Flat Earth conference in North Carolina, which is the week of the 11th. So it'll probably be after that, after the week of November 11th.
To tell us a little bit about that then. So are you speaking, or are you just going?
No, I'm speaking. I'm one of the speakers. I think I'm speaking Thursday, which is the first day. I think I'm the second speaker to go. I don't know how many speakers are there now, but I think there's tons. It runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think, and it's sold out. It's a flat Earth. What's it called? A flat Earth. Sorry, my brain's not on that right now. Flat Earth conference. It's in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. Not a big city, a medium-sized city, but it's sold out. The person that's putting it on is Robbie Davidson with Celebrate Truth. He's the one that's organizing the whole thing. He's actually somehow got it to where he could sell more tickets, and he did, and sold it out. I think he sold it out again twice. He found ways to get more tickets, more people in there. The media is supposed to be there. The media is all over it. So I'm looking forward just for the exposure to the outside world. Forget the inside world. I was telling Robbie this morning on just texting back and forth. I said, you know, the truths and the proofs that I've discovered or found to be fascinating. I'm going to throw one more in there that has nothing to do with refraction or anything that'll show that the Earth is flat. But for the most part, it's just a rehash. And he reminded me that the media is going to be there. And I was like, oh, that's fantastic. So I'll sell to them, so to speak. The people in the audience are already customers. But there's a lot of flat earthers going to be there. I don't know all of them. I haven't met any of them. But I'm one of the, I think I'm the only one there that is not EMAP. And I'm not going to shy away from that. If it comes up, it comes up. I know the AE map is not it. It doesn't work. It's square and flat. So
there's no square.
There's no square.
Didn't I prove it already, series? There's no square.
Maybe no square numbers, but the Earth is square. I'm convinced.
There's all triangles.
Well, it could be triangles too.
Well, think about this.
It could be a combination of two triangles. 12
triangles makes a cube.
That's true. But all I know is from navigation, the circle doesn't work. I was on too many seas to know that the circle doesn't work. Navigated too many hours. But what is it they call the GPS grid, or what's that map called that uses the absolute GPS?
The military one.
Yeah, that's it. That works perfectly. As far as that works for navigation. It works for distances. Works for everything.
How else does it work? Yeah. Than being
it works that way because that's what Yeah, we navigated by that, and we got to where we were supposed to get to on that map perfectly. And when we raced to get somewhere fast, we didn't take a circle route, but you would have to. Whether it's a circle flat or a circle globe, you have to take the circle route to get there the fastest. But we took the direct straight.
The 360 circle is still true in fourth dimensional sense, because the fourth dimension is that circle. Through
Yes, that I can see.
Plane side of the three-dimensional, but it is a fourth dimensional circle. So it's still a 360 ice wall in a sense.
And if I see it, I have problems with that visually, as you know, but if I get that right, that's what allows the sun to still actually rise and set also. Because I believe the sun does rise and set. I don't think it sits above the earth the whole time. But that's me. That I can't prove. But I can prove that the circle is out as far as navigation.
In a sense, we can go out in north and south, apparently. Somehow there are some findings that there are people coming from there and going to there. And
well, I plan on going to both, hopefully in the next couple of years. Starting with the Arctic next year.
As well. The UK's got a convention next year as well in April in Birmingham.
Yeah, they're popping up everywhere. But see, sooner or later, after Flat Earth, it'll be like people like on here talking about these other things. They'll come into focus, which is good. But something has, Flat Earth, I guess, is one of the, what's the word they use for when you get into drugs, the first drug you get into, what's it called?
Gateway?
Yes. Flat Earth is the gateway to all this other stuff. It is a gateway. I'm not saying it. What's that? Waygate?
How do you spell way?
That's because we're living in a spiritual realm. That's why, isn't it?
Yeah. This brings you out of the matrix.
How many ways can you spell way?
Quite a few, huh? W-E-I-G-H?
W-E-H? W-A-Y?
What is W-Y, W-E? What is way when it's anyway, there's 3 or 4 at least. It's like the word run, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's
hair.
That's spelled.
It's W-H-E-Y, W-E-I-G-H-T. They're being written in the chat room for me. Thank you, Claudio.
Yes, that's what's cool about
people.
And she's put Y-A-W.
Yeah, all these different ways to spell, and you're spelling the same sound. It's a phonics game that they're playing, and you don't even know you're in a phonics game. And phonics is sound, just like the word symbol is a musical instrument. It's sound related, and the word logos means sound. So these are all symbols, sounds, demonstrated for your eye.
Well, Flat Earth even wakes you up to all that too. I mean, you realize, hey, we've been calling it sea level.
Right.
There's
or
different words.
Airplane. Or
yeah,
airplane.
That's you just don't even think about.
Right. They're playing with you.
Yeah,
how does a plane even land on a spinning ball?
It doesn't. Not with survivors.
How do you stand on a corner? How do you go stand on a corner? How many times does the Bible tell you there's a corner to the earth? Now go stand on one. Go stand in one. On your ball earth, go stand in a corner.
Well, how do you get the heavens above the earth? Well, not if it's a ball. Half of the heavens is below the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you know the earth? That means the earth is above. How do you know the earth's not above the heavens?
But that's one of the things
Yeah,
I said.
Matt thinks they're upside down, don't you, Matt? If everything's upside down.
It is upside down because you're in a looking glass looking out.
Back end of a pair of glasses.
That's why when you receive the light, they even teach you in school that when your eyes take in light, it refracts in your mind. It refracts when it goes through the eye. It turns over. And that's literally because you're hanging upside down from the ceiling. You're not walking standing upright. You're hanging magnetized to the top because you're the furthest point away from the center, which is the sun.
That's an interesting thought.
So when you think about it, you think about the universe in the shape of like an hourglass, right? And you look at Earth as like a centrifugal force of magnetism, a plane of existence that's one side of the hourglass. It's the ceiling, and the sun is that middle point where all the grains of sand run through, and on the other side is the bottom or the top, heaven, whatever you want to call it. You have to go through the sun to get to heaven.
Well, that's how it looks on the toroidal fields. When it's
yeah,
showed,
and that's what the occult are telling you is you have to. What they're telling you is that the sun is a blinding light, and it's blinding you from the mother. The sun is so bright that it's blinding you from the heart of the mother. And you look around at society. Where's the mom at? Laws of Kemet and laws of alchemy state there's a natural balance to all things in the universe. And that is positive, negative, and neutral. Masculine and feminine makes a created point, the sun in the middle. The neutral point. Mom and dad fighting over their kid. They created the sun and they're fighting over it. See this?
Yeah.
So the sun's blinding you from the mother because the mother's in the middle of the sun. So the heart of matter is inside the sun. And that's what you see, that black spot you guys are talking about. You're seeing like, you know, you're seeing glimpses of it because materials, it's unveiling. It's unveiling itself. So you're getting glimpses, what you're calling that black spot, you're getting glimpses of the heart of matter, the mother, which is inside the sun.
Well, the black spot must be stuff you guys have talked about I haven't heard.
Yeah, no.
Anyway,
yeah.
I got to go, guys. So, again, thanks to everybody. Nice
Hang on,
talking
I'm
to
coming
me.
back.
Good to
Rich,
talk.
you know what we have to do? I'm coming back. We have to have our flat earth hug.
Alrighty. Soon I'll have a camera where I can do this, too.
Just got to wait for mine to come back.
Thank you, too, Alan. Thank you, Sirius. Thank you, Karen.
1 second. 1 second. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Just a second. Oh, this is how slow my computer is. Come back. Come on.
If you keep doing this hug, we're going to have to ban this chat.
Yeah, we'll get banned for a hug.
Yeah.
Too much hippie crap going on. Too much flower power. Too many
Take care.
hooves
God
down
bless
in
you.
Hooville hanging out. They don't like that.
God bless you guys.
God
Take
bless.
care.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Have a great time at the conference, and we'll see you afterwards.
Alrighty. Take care. Bye.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, by the way, I've emailed you already, Rich, with everybody's content, so you can go to these people. Doc, Karen, B, and Matt. I've given you information in an email already. Has he gone already? I think he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. Well, anyway, thank you to everybody. We've been going for over 3 hours now, so we're going to end this. And tomorrow, it looks like we've got...
Karen, I want to copy this when you can put it up.
Yeah, but I've got to take that bit out. But we've got Punche Pete and Vinny tomorrow, and other people as well. So we will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And a flat earth hug to everybody in the chat room. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you again.
Bye.